And we are good to go. Hey guys, how you going? So down BKRsport, we are live as the St George Illawarra Dragons will be taking on the New Zealand Warriors, the high-flying New Zealand Warriors right now, whilst I wouldn't necessarily say that the St George Illawarra Dragons are too high-flying as we speak. But if you listen to some of our chat, be it Noche or Annie, you know, they believe the Dragons are going to go undefeated from here on out. I would probably debate that one, though. Yes, I'd probably doubt that one. And I'd probably doubt the winning here today because the Warriors, they have been exceptional so far this season. They are currently sitting in second position. They do, honestly, need a win here, which, again, you should really be banking them in for it. But they do need a win here to keep the pressure on the Penrith Panthers, who are 4 points above them. They obviously have the bye this round, but they do have 2 wins more than them. So this is the first bye that the Panthers have received. Actually, the Warriors have received 1 by themselves, yeah. But they are on 8 wins, whilst the Panthers are on 10 wins. So you do need to win this game to keep the pressure on them. Otherwise, they will separate by 2 games. Whilst on the other hand, well, Dragons, you got to really hope the Titans don't beat Manly today. Because if the Titans go and beat Manly and you lose this game here to the Warriors, well, you're going to be down by 2 games. Sorry, not 2 games. You'll be down by 3 games on the next worst team, which is the Gold Coast Titans, who are now currently 2 games behind everybody else. With that win for the Bulldogs yesterday, the Bulldogs, the Eels, the Storm, and the Raiders are now all on 4 wins. The Titans are on 2 wins. The Dragons are on 0. So if the Dragons lose this and the Titans go and beat Manly, well, shit, it's going to be very difficult to see you avoiding that spoon. It will be very difficult to see you being able to catch up on those 3 games behind. So it is very scary times for St George. And it's also very scary times for New Zealand because it's like, well, you've been here before, but you haven't really been here before. You've been here before, but it's like, are you still confident? You know, are the Warriors still a team that you can just hold undeniable confidence in that no matter what, when they should win a game, that they're going to win a game? I think that's always going to be the... That's always going to be the biggest question. I've just seen Olivia's donation pop up here. Well, obviously, we're going to go through the 2-team lineups, the games we've got today and tomorrow, and then obviously get into the ladder and then into the chat. But I do see a donor here from Olivia Reid with the $8 donation saying, "G'day, Mr. Lama." Look, that is the greatest video of all time. It just represents Australia so damn well. It really does. It just fixes the ladder so damn well. No, fixes the damn ladder. It just makes so much sense as an Australian, that video. It really is unbelievable stuff. You know, it's a great video. She's talking about the one with the alpaca and how the Australian says, "I beg your pardon, you fuckwit." It's the greatest video, but thank you very much for the donor, Olivia. But let's get into today's game here, guys. So I got distracted by, I think it was Brenton saying a comment or somebody saying a comment about fixing the ladder. But let's get into the 2-team lineups here for today. So obviously, guys, hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you're new around here. Let's do it. So obviously, last night, we did see the Bulldogs beat the Storm 30 points to 20. And on Thursday, we saw the Dolphins beat the Raiders 30 points to 22. We got today, Dragons versus Warriors, and then we'll have Manly versus Titans right on after. So, guys, prepare for that one because you know what Titan streams can be like with me being a Titans fan. And then, obviously, tomorrow we do have the Cowboys versus the Rabbitohs. The bites this round, Broncos, Eels, Knights, Panthers, Roosters, Sharks, and Tigers, because we've got the big one. The big one on Wednesday night. You better be here for it. Queensland versus New South Wales, Game 1. It is time to get rocking and rolling again, son. It is time to get rocking and rolling again. But let's get into these 2-team lineups. So the Dragons, they come to this game from 17th position. The Warriors come into the game from 2nd position, and this is at St George Venues Jubilee Stadium in Kogarah. I just call it Kogarah, man. That's all I do. Or do I just call it either the Jubilee or Kogarah. I don't call it St George's Venues Jubilee Stadium. That's ridiculous. Just call it Jubilee or Kogarah. But the ins here for the Dragons, Tyrell Sloan. The out is Moses Sully, with the fullback being Clint Gutherson. The wingers Setu Tu and Christian Tuipulotu, the money man. Centres of Hayden Buchanan and Valentine Holmes, with the 5'8" being Daniel Atkinson and the halfback Kyle Flanagan. The front row forwards are Loco Junior, Pacific Tonga and Toby Couchman, with the number 9 being Damien Cook, who is the captain. The back row of Dylan Egan and Hamish Stewart. And the number 13 is Ryan Couchman. You go to the interchange, Luchan Leilua, Emre Gula, Josh Kerr, Blake Laurie, Tyrell Sloan, and Lycan King Tagia, with the coach being Dean Young. The Dragons this year, look, it's flogging a dead horse by speaking about this, but they obviously have not won a single game throughout the season. They've had a couple of close games, but also they've had some blowout games that have been actually relatively close for the most part of the game before it really did blow out. Like, for example, Bulldogs Dragons round 1. That was a close game where they lost 15-14, but we know about the Bulldogs' struggle so far this season. The second game against the Melbourne Storm when they lost 46-20, well, it was 20-16 at the Dragons with 20 minutes to go in that game before the Storm absolutely came rocketing home to win that one 46-20 and absolutely slapped them. But that was in the last 20. So it was actually quite close for the most part of that game before it blew out because the Dragons do what the Dragons do. And then you go into the game against the Parramatta Eels where they lost 30-20, but there was an entire possibility and an entire chance for the Dragons to actually win this game, but they threw it away themselves. Against the Titans when they lost 22-14, they were well and truly in this game. They were up in this game. They were leading in this game. But we always said during that game that whoever's leading is probably going to be the ones to throw that one away. And guess what? The Dragons were leading, and guess what? They threw it away. The Titans won. So an entire chance for them to win, but it obviously wasn't to be. Then they lost the Cowboys 32-0. That is pretty much reflective of what that game was. That was absolutely abysmal. But then you go against Manly. I think it was 18-18 at one stage because the Dragons came rocketing back into it from down about 10 or 12 points. But then Manly pulled away late in the end. Again, the last 20 minutes of games is the worst part of St George Illawarra Dragons. The last 20 minutes is when you've really got to focus on them because they can actually compete for the first 60 or so. But that last 20 really does crunch them because, again, you look at that game against the Storm, the last 20 slapped them. The last 20 against the Eels. Actually, let's quickly go have a look here at the stats. Well, they did give up a try to Josh Adokar in that last 20, and the Dragons did not score a try themselves. So that is what ultimately won the game for the Eels by separating it by more than just the one individual try. So it's not that that was their worst period of that game, but still they didn't win that part of the game. The Adokar for the Eels still scored a try there while the Dragons did not. Actually, how about that Bulldogs game? Nobody scored in the last 20 minutes of that game, except for obviously Stephen Crump with that controversial field goal. But the Storm game, definitely. The Titans game, absolutely. You know, the Titans, Adama Howe scoring that try real late on there to make it 22-14. And there was a couple of penalty goals too. Jaden Campbell in the 70th minute and Oliver Pascoe in the 79th minute. So that last 20 was what lost them that game as well. You go to the Manly game, and again, I think it was 18-18. And then, Lehigh Pawade obviously scored in the 65th minute. Hetherington scored in the 54th minute, getting close to that 20 minutes to go mark. It was 16-12 at half-time. The point of the matter is that game was close until obviously that last 20. And then, what about the Rabbitohs game? Was that similar? Absolutely. Latrell Mitchell scored 2 tries in the 70th and the 74th minute. The score was 30-12. So take those 2 tries off, it would have been 18 points to 12, a 6-point game with 8 minutes to go. 10 minutes to go. And then the Rabbitohs just ran away with it with Latrell Mitchell in the last 20. It's the last 20 of your games. It really is. Let's not talk about the Roosters 62-16 loss that you had and the 44-10 Knights loss that you had. I also feel like the Panthers ran away late. Yeah, they did. Last week, they ran away late with 2 tries in the 68th minute to Brian To'o and Luke Garner in the 79th minute. Well, so you guys did nothing. You know, Christian Tuipulotu scored in the 59th minute. Still not the 60th minute, though. And after that 60th minute, they went on to score 2 tries to your 0. So again, I would fully expect that the Dragons could keep in this game for like 60 minutes. And Warriors fans, you should actually relatively expect that it's not going to be... You should actually probably expect that it's not going to be the blowout that you assume in the first 60. But it absolutely could still be 20, 30, 40 plus. Because if you're good enough in that last 20, you will blow it away. Again, that Panthers game last week, and the Panthers play the Warriors actually next week. But the Panthers game last week, it wasn't actually that much of a... I think it was 1-12 into the last 20. At halftime, it was 12-0. They scored those 2 tries. They would have gone down to... They didn't get the first conversion of those 2 tries after the 60th. So that's 10 points. They would have been 18. So it would have been 18 points. Was it 18 points to 12? No, 18 points to 6. It would have been 18 points to 6, where it was still relatively doable, and then obviously blows out to 28 points to 6 in the last 20 minutes, the last little bit of that game, last 20. So again, against the best team in the competition, who are in number 1, and Warriors, again, you get to play them next week, it still took them a good, 60 minutes before they could start to blow them out. So I'm just giving that as a positive here for the Dragons, that they're not well beaten typically from the first minute, unless it's the Sydney Roosters or I guess the Newcastle Knights, who actually, is that actually true too? Did the Knights put them to the sword from the start, or was it late that they ran them in when they won 44-10? Yeah, halftime was 32-0. Yeah, so you were done from the 7th minute. You were absolutely rocked. You were rocked from the 7th minute under Greg Marzhew and the likes. Yeah, the Knights just absolutely tore them to shreds there. So, again, for the most part, unless it was the Roosters or the Knights game, the Dragons have been in games and then they throw it away late. And you look at the Dragons team, And obviously, look, it's not stunning. It really isn't stunning. Next year, they do get to bring in Scotty Drinkwater. They have Philip Sami from the Titans coming in, Keon Kalamatangi coming in from the South Sydney Rabbitohs, and also Luke Metcalf coming across from the New Zealand Warriors. So that's going to be big for them. I don't know. 1 second. I don't know how much it's going to overall do for them in regards to making them a top 8 team, but at least it's going to be better for them than what they're seeing right this very second. So there's not much to really go through with this Dragons team that you don't already know, and the question marks on the team in regards to Carl Flanagan, Daniel Atkins in the halves, in regards to the output from forwards outside of the Couchman boys, specifically Toby for mine. What kind of game is Clint Gutho going to have? These are obvious questions, and Val Holmes, he's been awful this season. Really need to see him turn up for the team. They're all really obvious things that you should know by now with the Dragons. We won't go too in-depth into them, but you're very well aware of them. Whilst for the Warriors, let's move into their team. The ins, Eddie Jeremiah Tuava, Kalis Fatialofa, Luke Hansen, and Roda Tuivasa-Sheck, with the outs being Adam Pompey, Kurt Catewell, Mitchell Barnett, and Tanner Boyd. So the benefit to this game here today, guys, is that obviously our Origin is on Wednesday. There's not many players out due to Origin here. The only outs due to Origin are Kurt Catewell and Mitchell Barnett for the Warriors. Which is unlucky because Warriors are usually one of the teams that don't have to have too many Origin players out because they don't have usually a great deal of those Aussie boys that are at that level. But now they do. Right? And Kurt Catewell is a big loss and Mitchell Barnett is a solid loss, but also they've got Jackson Ford now. And Mitchell Barnett hasn't even been able to get back into the starting rotation because of how good Jackson Ford has been. And Jackson Ford has been absolutely robbed of Dally M points and not being at the top and all that stuff. But there's been a whole heap of stuff. Jackson Ford was robbed of a New South Wales spot, let's be completely honest. And people saying, 8 games doesn't get you into Origin. Well, he had a great season last year, mind you. He was coming off of the bench, though, which is obviously a bit different because Mitchell Barnett was having a fantastic season as a starting prop. But now Jackson Ford has been holding out Mitchell Barnett from the front row spot at the Warriors, which has just been absolutely spectacular. So, yeah, Jackson Ford has been the guy for them, and I'm surprised that he hasn't been given that opportunity there for New South Wales, but hopefully we see maybe something change there in Game 2. Mitchell Barnett's still a great option regardless. Obviously, you lost Tanner Boyd for the season last week. That was really, God bless him. He's had such a fantastic year, and he really turned his career around, and then unfortunately has a long-term season injury. I think it might have been ACL if I'm not mistaken, but God bless him, man. That is a really rough loss there for the Warriors. But their fullback, Tate Tuapiki, with the wingers being Daniel Martinez-Lesniak and Alofiana Khan-Pereira. The centres are Ali Leotawa and Roger Tuivasa-Sheck. The 5'8" is Chanel Harris-Tavita, with the halfback being Tamati Martin. And then you go to the front row forwards of James Fisher-Harris, the captain, and Jackson Ford. Number 9 is Wade Egan. The back row, Leka the Wrecker Halasema and Jacob Laban. And the 13, Aaron Clark, the big old Ez. Then you go to the interchange, Sam Healy, Tanner Stowers-Smith, Dimitri Vaymalga, Eddie Jeremiah Tuava, Luke Hansen, and Kalis Fatialofa, with the coach being Andrew Webster. The Warriors team is great. They really are. They're a really good team this year. They are way above my expectations for the year. And I will explain this, but I also don't feel like I need to explain it, because I think you understand where I was coming from pre-season. Things can change, and the same thing is happening with the Dolphins and with the Warriors right now. On the opposite side of things, though. So the Dolphins last year could attack, but they couldn't defend. The Warriors last year, they couldn't attack, but they could defend. And that is proof in the fact that the Warriors were about 10th or 11th. When they were in the top 4 last year, the Warriors were in 10th or 11th for attack, but they were in 2nd, 3rd, or 4th at the times for their defense. They were absolutely crushing in regards to their defense. It was phenomenal. But their attack wasn't great. And that's why I questioned Luke Metcalf. And I got a little bit of flack for it. And fair enough, because Luke Metcalf was at the top of the Dally M's and individually was actually having a really good season. But he's the halfback, and the Warriors were not able to attack, really. The attack was not simply there for the Waz. Now it actually is. But that was under Tanner Boyd and Chanel Harris-Tavita. Now, I don't think that, they're going to lose an insane amount with Tamati Martin, but you are going to have a little bit of a drop-off there in regards to that direction from the halfback, because you are having to change your spine. A forced change, but a change nonetheless. So is Tamati Martin going to be able to bring the same amount out of this Warriors team as Tanner Boyd was bringing out of them this year? It is a legitimate question. Warriors fans will hate me bringing that up, but it is a legitimate question. Now, the Warriors this year, they've scored 320 points through 10 games. Now, they've had one less game than the Panthers. The Panthers have had 349 points scored. So if you score 30 points here today, you have a better attack than the Penrith Panthers this year, which, mind you, that would be the number 1 attack in the entirety of the game. The Warriors, if they are to score 30 points or more today, regardless of how much they concede, they will have the best attack in the game. That is far and away what they were last season. So when I went into this preseason ladder predictions, I had you for 10th. I didn't have you for the top 8. And the reason being is because you had no proof that your attack was going to be able to improve into this season, into the season of 2026. But gee whiz, you proved me wrong, and I'm so happy for it. Because last year there was no proof for it. You dropped off an absolute cliff in the last little bit of the fourth quarter of the season. And obviously, you didn't make the top 4 in the end, and you got bounced out pretty easily, and you were actually, unfortunately, one of the easy beats in the back end of last year and also into the finals. I think you're a completely different team now, because not only do you have a great defense, but you've got that attack, and again, if you score 30 points or more today, you do go into the best attack in the game. The Panthers are at 349 with the 1 extra game than you. The Roosters, the same amount of games as you, are 293, so that's 27 points less than you. The Knights, who've played 1 more game than you, and we know how good their attack has been this year. Well, they're 8 points behind you on 312. Manly, who have played the same amount of games as you, 305. They're still 15 points behind you. They're actually relatively close to you, actually. But they're still behind you. Rabbitohs, the same thing. 10 games played, 306 point score, so still 14 points behind you. The Dolphins, we know how their attack can be, even though they've been adjusting their team this year, 290 through 11 games. So 1 extra game, but yet they're still down on you by 30 points scored. The Sharks, same amount of games, 294. The Cowboys, high attack but no defense. Well, guess what? They're only at 287, considering they've played an extra game than you. So they've played an extra game, and they're 33 points less than you. And you don't even need to talk about the rest of the other teams there. The Storm are, funnily enough, 296 down there in 15th position. But they're obviously they've played 2 extra games than you. They've actually played 12 games. They've played 2 extra games than you, and they've only got 296, whilst you've played 2 less games, got 320. So this is why it's really impressive here from the Warriors standards that their attack has grown gigantically and put them into a legitimate spot to actually consider them a contender for this season. Because then when you compare that with the defense, now, look, defensively, the Panthers are much better than you. They've played 11 games this year. They've got a 146 against them. You've played 10 games this year. You've got 182 against you. So that is still 36 points more you've conceded through 1 less game, which means that you're going to be even further behind them after today, unless you can keep the Warriors, unless you can keep the Dragons to 0. But regardless, you're at minimum 36 points behind them with a game in hand. You are still better than, say, the Roosters, and you're still better than actually every other team. You were the second best defensive team. So after today, if you were to say, let's just go and throw out that you don't give up any points to the Dragons. I think the Dragons probably should be able to score at some point. But if you were to keep the Dragons to 0 and you won like 30-0 or 40-0, you would be the best attacking team in the competition, and you would be the second best defensive team in the competition. It would be by quite a decent bit still behind the Panthers, but also quite a decent bit above a team like Manly, who've got the same amount of games played as you, but 198 against. So the Titans, look, their attack's been rough this year, but the Titans could actually still score against that Manly team today. So you will be the best attacking team in the comp with the second best defense. And even if you only concede like 14 points or something like that to the Dragons, well, you're still the second best defensive team. So this is why my complete mentality and mindset has changed here in regards to the Warriors, and it's looking really, really positive for them going forward, because they have focused on improving the situation they needed in regards to their attack. Now, I will put a little bit of a caveat here and say we did see this early on last year in the first half where they killed it and they crushed it and they ran amok. And then they fell off a cliff. So am I just guaranteeing you a grand final? Not necessarily. But I'm really confident that you guys are going to be much better into the second half of this season than you were last season. So it's going to be exciting to see how the Warriors do come in here today, because if you are the team that you promised to be, you are the team that you expect to be, you should be winning this game to the standards that I just said. I know that the Dragons played it relatively close to the Panthers. Again, they still got beaten quite comprehensively last week. It was 28-6, I think it was in the end. 28 points to 6. So they still got beaten 22 points, but if you watch the game, you know the Dragons were relatively close. Now, I did say at the time, and I still believe it, the Panthers weren't playing to anywhere near the standards that you would expect from them, but that's entirely possible against lower-ranked teams. When you're playing these low-ranked teams, the fans are entitled and allowed to say, we should beat them easily, we should smack them, it's going to be, let's think about next week. Like, Warriors fans, right now, I'm thinking about this game. Warriors fans right this very second are thinking about the Panthers game next week, because that's the big game. That's the one that everyone's waiting for. No one really cares about the Warriors versus the Dragons right now. But the players can't think like that. If the players think like that, you'll lose this game. If the Warriors come into this game thinking about the Panthers game next week and they're not considering the Dragons are still a professional outfit. I know it's debatable, but they are still professionally paid players that can win the game and are the best outfit that the Dragons can put out onto the field. If you come in thinking that you've already won this game, not the fans, the players, if they come in thinking they've already won this game and they're thinking about the Panthers, you will lose this game. And then your confidence will be shot going into that Panthers game. So you need to come in here and play them like they're the Panthers. You do. You need to come in here and you need to just play your absolute best and whoop them. Because you want your points differential to get closer to the Panthers too, mind you. You're plus 138, they're plus 203. So I'm taking the Warriors 13 plus here today. I'm going to have some faith in you. I'm going to have a little faith in you. However, we know what this Warriors team can do. But I do expect that they should win this game, and they should win this game absolutely well, because the Dragons just simply this year haven't been good enough. If they win, amazing for you Dragons fans, and we'll celebrate it with you. And I'll be sorry to the Warriors fans, but at the end of the day, Dragons fans have been absolutely going through it. So at the end of the day, I don't really care who wins this game. Like, I do have a soft spot for the Wars, but also we have Dragons audience here, and I would like to see them win as well. That's the thing with me. I'm all about the community. So I want to see Dragons fans happy. I want to see Warriors fans happy, but obviously it's not going to happen today. One team's going to be happy and one team's going to be sad. That's sport, that's life, and that's what makes it so exciting, because at the end of the day, someone's going to be happy and someone's going to be upset. So I would like to see both of these teams win for you today, but obviously that's not going to be happening, and I do think the Warriors should just win this game by a country mile. Now let's get into the ladder to see what the impacts will be from today's game. The Warriors, they're on 18 points. Actually, we'll go quickly to the Dragons here first, because there's no movement. The Dragons, if they win this game or lose this game, they will be in 17th position. They cannot move. They've got 0 wins, whilst the next worst team is the Titans with 2 wins. They play Manly later on today. If the Dragons lose this game, you are the biggest Manly fans ever. And I know you would hate to hear that and hate to say that because you're not a fan of Manly, but it is a fact. You need Manly to win, and you need Manly to win well, because your points differential is actually just horrific. It's disgusting. It really is, Dragons. Minus 207 is not good enough. You've given up 337 points this season. You're the second worst defensive team behind the Parramatta Eels. That's even more disgusting if you're a Parramatta fan to hear that 379 is the amount of points you've given up through 11 games. 379. Parramatta, what is that? The second worst team is the Dragons with 337. That is insane to look at. Parramatta, and yet we get told that they're improving every week, are they? 379. But the Dragons are minus 207. So if they lose this game, geez, the Titans minus 86 is still much better. So you are effectively right now down by 3 games. So it's not just 2 games. Right now, you're actually essentially down by 3 games because your points differential is minus 207. The next closest to you is the Parramatta Eels at minus 144. Then you've got then you've got the Bulldogs at minus 93, the Raiders at minus 86, and the Titans at minus 86. So the closest to you is still 63 points off you, but they've got 4 wins to your 0. So that's essentially 5 wins behind for you. And the Titans, they've got 2 wins to your 0, but they're minus 86, you're minus 207. You are essentially 3 wins behind them. So if you lose this game here today and the Titans go and win, you will essentially be 4 games behind them, because they'll probably go to like a minus 80 or a minus 70. You might go to a minus 240. Good luck with overturning that. So this is a must-win here for you today, Dragons. It really is, especially if the Titans win later on today. So again, if you win this game, you won't move. If you lose this game, you won't move. But a win is so important to keeping up with the bottom of the table to avoid that wooden spoon. If the Titans win today, it's pretty much all over for you, in my opinion. It nearly would be. So it's just on such, a heavy edge right now. You are on the edge of an iceberg, and it is... we are only 12 rounds in. Well, not only. We're nearly halfway through the season, but we're 12 rounds in now. And you nearly could be guaranteed for it if you lose this and they win later on today. So that it's such a heavy emphasis on that next game as well for you. And obviously we'll be live for it, and I hope that we win. And in that sense, as a Titans fan speaking, I hope the Titans win and you lose. But as a content creator commentating all the games, I would like to see you win on that purpose for yourselves, that you're not kind of locked into that wooden spoon this early in the season. I know how it feels. I've been there before. On the other side of things, though, for the Warriors, they're in second position on 18 points, which is equal with the fraud alert Sydney Roosters. And Roosters fans, if you try and claim that you're not a fraud alert, you're off your rocker after last week. But the Warriors are on the same amount of points as them. plus 138 for the Wars, whilst the Roosters are plus 61. They've had the bye, which has put them there. Look, the Warriors, if they were to lose this game, you're not dropping out of where... Oh, well, actually. Yes, maybe. You may drop out a second, actually. So you got a plus 138. Manly play the Titans. So the Roosters and the Knights have already had their bye. The Rabbitohs play... It's very unlikely to see the Rabbitohs going above the Wars. But Manly are on 14... No, actually, no, you can't. No, you can't. The Manly on 14 points. I'm sorry, I thought they were on 16. They're on 14 points. No matter what, you will not be dropping out of second position today, Warriors. Because the Roosters are plus 61. Knights have already had their bye. They're plus 28 anyway. But Manly are 14. You're 18. They're on plus 107. So I was just looking at the points differential there and saying there's only about a 31-point split there. Whilst the Rabbitohs are at 70. That's a 68-point swing. But they're both on 14 points. So, again, you lose this game, you'll be in second, but you'll be equal with the Roosters, and the Knights will be just there. Manly, maybe really close to you. Rabbitohs, if they beat the Cowboys tomorrow, would be really close to you, and only 2 points separating, but your points differential's good, but then how much do you lose by? You shouldn't be losing this game. You shouldn't be losing this game by a lot, even if you did, but the point still needs to be made. If you win this game, you will be in second, because you'll still be 2 points behind the Panthers. You'll be 1 win behind the Panthers. You've both had a bye now. You keep yourselves on their tail, and you keep putting the pressure on them. You need to put the pressure on them going into the home straight. We're not at the home straight just yet. Obviously, we're still we're still at the back. We haven't even gotten to the turn of the season just yet. Once we get to about Origin Game 3, that's when you come into the turn, and then as soon as Origin finishes, that is the home straight. So still a little bit to go before that. But anyway, long story short, the Dragons, you win or lose this game, you're in 17th. If you win or lose this game, Warriors, you're in second. But obviously, there is still quite a bit to talk about, regardless of the fact that you do not move from both ends of the table. But all right, guys, let's get into the chat. Let's see what you are saying. Obviously, smack that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you're new around here. And hopefully, we get a good game. But it easily could be a big old blowout. It could easily be a big old damn well blowout. G'day, Miss Alama. I love it. What a video. You know, what a video. God, I love Australia. God, I love Australia. Lorraine getting around the wires. Aspects, I'm ready for another loss. Woohoo. Brighton says, finally fixed the ladder. This is what confused me before. Brighton said, finally fixed the ladder. God bless you, brother. Cheers for the stream. God bless you too, Brighton. But fix the ladder in regards to, it's great to see the Titans on a feet on top of the table. Unbelievable stuff, really. It really is. It's just spectacular. Been through so much shit, and now we're undefeated at the top of the table. It's unbelievable stuff. Levi says 52-6 to the Wars. Well, if you're going for a 52-point slap up for the Warriors, why don't you just say 52-0? Why don't you just do that? Why don't you just say that you don't concede? The Cowboys didn't concede one, and the Cowboys' defense is awful. So... what are we doing? Why don't you just say 52-0? You may as well at this point. Aspect says that Dogs game was a robbery, I'll say it. Yeah, it was a robbery in regards to it being a win for the Dogs, but it wasn't a robbery in regards to it should have been a win for the Dragons. It should have been a tie. It should have been a draw, 14-14, yeah. But no, it wasn't a robbery in a sense that the Dragons deserved to win it and the Bulldogs didn't deserve to win it. It was more so that the Bulldogs didn't deserve to win it and it should have been a draw. So yeah, Annie says, come on the Dragons, let's do this. Paying the buses up the Wars, baby. Shauno, good afternoon, mate. Up the Wars. Get around your Shauno. Big win for the Doggies last night. Wolf, TJ Kakamoa says, let us see the game when it starts. Oh, TJ Kakamoa, time to get a job, sir. Obviously, it is illegal for me to show you the game due to broadcasting restrictions. The best you've got is me commentating the game, talking to you guys, having a bit of fun. But it is obviously illegal. That's what you're doing online right now. You're looking for a illegal stream. So I cannot show you the game due to broadcasting restrictions, which you are very well aware of. Ben says, how long will Boyd be out for? Unfortunately, the season. Sorry if I mispronounced this, man, but Tuku Toromiro says, love your honest opinion, brother. Up the Wars. Yeah, well, that's what I'm here for, man. Like, at the end of the day, some people aren't going to agree with me, and that's just obvious. That's just life. People aren't always going to agree with you. My streams are more about, you can hear my perspective. You've got your perspective, and then you can kind of combine it. You can look at the media's perspective, you can look at other fans' perspective, you've got your perspective, and you've got my perspective. I'm not lying. So I won't lie to you guys. I can be completely honest. From my perspective, my observation, I watch every single game, so I have a reasonable idea about what's going to happen. That doesn't mean I know what's going to happen, though, but I have a pretty good idea about what we've been seeing. But again, upsets do happen, and things that go completely against the grain do happen. So you've always got to be aware of that, but you're never going to hear me just lie for the sake of it here on the channel to circle jerk a team. I'm not just going to sit here and circle jerk the Wars for the sake that we have a lot of Warriors fans on the channel. And I won't do that for the Dragons, and I don't do that for my team, the Titans. You know, when I think that we're playing shit house, I do say that we're playing shithouse, you know? So when people say, oh, well, you can't criticize my team because you're a Titans fan. So fuck off, man. Like, at the end of the day, my team's shithouse, but I'm still watching your games. I'm still watching their games. I'm still watching everyone else's games. So yeah, I'll say it how I feel it. Again, doesn't necessarily mean that it's right, but then that's what the chat's here for. If you disagree with an opinion or disagree with something that I say, well, bang, you can jump into the chat. But also, like, I'd like a reasoning behind why I'm incorrect, rather than just saying, you're wrong, shit opinion, go screw yourself, up the wires kind of deal. This isn't even just a thing for the Warriors. This is a thing for every single team, because most people, when they come in and disagree with something because they feel like I'm being too heavily critical to a team, they don't actually give me a reason to suggest why I'm being too heavily critical, and they'll just say, you're wrong, go this team. It's like, well, okay, sure, if I'm wrong, but please explain why I'm incorrect. Amanda says, buoyed out for the rest of the season. Yes, unfortunately so. Kogarah says, people keep saying that the Dragons will win a game this season. Is it even possible at this rate? Who's going to lose to them? Yes, mate. No one thought a team would beat the Panthers, and then the Bulldogs of all teams beat them. So, and we did say that at the time, you know, we couldn't see a team beating the Panthers, but then a team did beat the Panthers and they beat them 13 plus. The Dragons will win a game at some point this year, man. It just will happen. I don't know who. Like, at the end of the day, people are going to yap on about round 21 and whatnot against the Titans. So the Titans have already beaten them, mind you. It's really difficult to see what game they win. But they will win a game at some point this year, dude. You know, they play the Broncos next week. They are quite beatable right now. I still think the Broncos win. You know, they play the Sharks and they're very beatable, but I still think the Sharks win. But the last time the Dragons did win was actually, funnily enough, against the Sharks last year, in about round 2021 or so. You know, you go down to the Knights game and they are beatable, but also I just don't see them beating them. Raiders, very beatable, but still got the Raiders in Canberra. Tigers, how many injuries will they have in round 18? Still very beatable, but still got the Tigers. You know, the Warriors again, Titans. Same thing goes for all these teams. Like, everybody is beatable, man. It just comes down to the day. And the Dragons just got to hope that one day is their day. It's funny. We're talking about with the Dragons, it's not about just like one day being their day for a premiership. We're talking about one day being their day for a win. They have not won since about round 20 or so since last year. It is ridiculous right now. So, yeah, it's a bit of a situation. Seb Watson with a £2 donation says, you're always wrong. Yeah, well, unfortunately, you don't know how to put an apostrophe between U and R, and you forgot the E because that's the wrong your champion. Yeah, you just got championed. You just got champed, son. You just got absolutely champed with that one. But thank you very much for the $2 donation, Seb Watson. You have always been right in regards to Josh King getting a try lately, though. What a man. You know, you've been flying. I hope you've been putting money on it. Bet you haven't, though. Bet you haven't, though. But thank you very much for the £2 donation. If you had to put Josh King to score a try in the last two games, you might be a millionaire by this point. You might be a billionaire. You might be on the same level as like Elon Musk, getting close to $1 trillion. Seb, I'm sure you put some money on Josh King to get an anytime try score these last two games, right? Right? I doubt it, sir. Ben says, damn huge loss. Kogarah, the biggest chance of the Dragons to get their first win of the season is during the Origin series where important players will be out. Okay, but against who? So the Broncos have players out due to injury, not necessarily Origin. Like Payne Haas is obviously still out, but who are they really missing overall due to Origin? The Sharks have only got Britton Kogarah and Adam Fanil-Blake out, so that does take a big heavy hit into their forwards. The Knights, I guess they've got Callum Ponga. The Knights should still beat them, but they've got Callum Ponga and Jacob Saifidi out, and I guess Dylan Lucas as well. I think Lucas is still able to play because he's not actually going to be in the actual team, but he's going to be on extended, if I'm not mistaken, like he's in the camp. Raiders have, Hudson Young out, and that's really about it, unless I'm mistaken. The Tigers, they've got injuries and whatnot. It's not like they play teams that are super heavily impacted by Origin. Like, they're not playing the Panthers. Like, they would have loved to have played the Panthers this week, you know, with no Nathan Cleary, no... Casey McLean didn't make it. So no Nathan Cleary, no... And Dylan Edwards is actually still there because Tedesco got the fullback spot. So no Cleary. No... Jeez, they don't have as many players this year as they would usually have. But Isaiah Yeo. Who else is there for the Panthers? Who else is there for the Panthers? Liam Martin's out with injury. How many Panthers players are in Origin this year, actually? I'm going to quickly go and have a look at this. Because they've got a couple of players out with injury, but also too, Casey McLean didn't get selected. Brian To'o and Nathan Cleary. Isaiah Yeo. That's it. Oh, Case McLean got onto the interchange. He didn't get selected for the start, is what I meant to say. So four players there. Dylan Lucas is actually the reserve, so he can't play. But yeah, okay, so 4 players. It's not as bad as it has been in recent years when they've had the likes of Cleary, Stephen Crichton, Stephen Crichton, Nathan Cleary, Dylan Edwards, even Kogarah Sow when he was there, I guess. Was Kogarah Sow playing Origin when he was there? I'm pretty certain he probably was. Liam Martin, Isaiah and whatnot. But it's not as bad as it has been. But they would have loved to have still played the Panthers in a week like this, comparatively. They're not really playing too many heavily Origin-impacted teams. Mark says, good day all. Emmanuel says, last year we had a lot more injuries towards the last third of the season that hurt us. Yeah, we had Barnett and Metcalf. But again, Metcalf didn't impact your attack. I guess he may have impacted in regards to just the confidence the team was playing with. But it wasn't impacting the attack because the attack was still outside of the top 8. Now Seb Watson comes in with the other £2 donation. Says, you're always wrong. Got it right this time. Well done, Seb. Really proud of you, mate. Really, really proud of you. I'm glad that I can help you out with your English. Really, really glad. You are from England, Seb, so I would have expected that your English should probably be a little bit better than mine, considering that you are from the motherland of England. But, you know, I'm always here to help you, Seb. I'm always here to help. Looney says, BKRsport just jinxed the Warriors against the Dragons. How have I jinxed the Warriors against the Dragons? Really? Are we coming in with this cope? Are we coming in with this cope against a team that has not won so far this season? We're blaming me. We're blaming me here. So if you lose to the Dragons, it's my fault, is it? Unbelievable stuff. That's intellectual stuff. That's really unbelievable. So you're telling me that if the Dragons, a team that has not won a game all season, beat the Warriors here, that it's all on me, Mr. BKR in Vietnam. I've had a direct impact on this game in Kogarah, have I? Gee whiz. The cope is real. The cope is real here. James says, does the rain favour the Wars? Oh, so it's raining, is it, here in Sydney? Gee, it's been raining a lot in Australia lately. Weather, rain. Okay. I think that... Do the Warriors play well in the rain? I don't know if... Do they? I don't know if they really do. They've had a lot of games in the rain this year, to be fair. I still just fancy the Warriors regardless. I don't know if it necessarily helps anything besides slowing the track down. Like, I'm going to pick out Lofty Can't Pro first try scorer tonight anyway because he's been playing really well this year. So I'm going to back in a little Lofty first try scorer. But I don't know if it really... It's not like the Warriors are an extremely fast-playing, paced team. You know, Lofty is extremely fast, but outside of that, I wouldn't say the Warriors are an extremely fast team. And the Dragons don't even start me in regards to them being fast. They've got, like, no real X factor so far this season, which obviously leans towards that fast-paced creativity kind of game. I guess that slows Damien Cook off the mark, but, we're freezing up a little bit here. Are we freezing up? Are we starting to... Is this stream freezing up a little bit for you guys? Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat if we are freezing up a little bit. I thought that maybe it stopped for a second there. Let me know in the chat just quickly. I'm just waiting for the comments to click on here before... no, it's all sweet. Oh, you're all good. Okay, sweet. Sorry, it looked like it might have been freezing for me. But anyway, long story short, no, I think that... look, the Warriors, they're not a fast-paced team, but I just don't think the weather should impact this game at all. We're talking about a second-place team going up against a 17th-place team that hasn't won a game so far this season. So I don't think it favours anybody, but... You know, I guess it does slow down the track a little bit. Maybe the Dragons can try and grind something out. Jake says, I'd argue the Saints have done the reverse Fosball. They've been worse under Dean Young. They've been worse under Dean Young. Damn, that's that's crazy. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying that's crazy that we've gotten to this point where maybe, you know, Dragons fans are saying we shouldn't have got rid of Shane Flano. Look, I don't think that you would have been 28-6 down to the Panthers against... I don't know, to be fair. I would say I disagree on the purpose that it doesn't change. Like, nothing's changed, really, man. Yeah, sure, the 62-16 suck, but you can't blame Dean Young for his first game against the Roosters team, and I just don't think I can blame Dean Young for that. The Knights are... the Dragons have had a really tough 3 games since Dean Young's come in against the Roosters, the Knights, and the Panthers. And the Knights do play some heavy attacking footy. They were awful against the Titans last week, but the Titans were just even way more awful. So, like, I can understand the 3 losses they've had. I think, and then now you play the Warriors. I guess next week, if you get pumped by the Broncos, if the Dragons get pumped by the Broncos with their situation right now, then I'd kind of entertain this question. But the first three games here is a bit of a rough one in regards to suggesting that it's been worse under Dean Young, just because, one, this isn't his team. This is still Shane Flanagan's team. And two, it's really good teams they're going up against. Michael says, like your status last year, we were in the top 4. Our defense was up, but our attack was down. So we drop off to 11th place in 2026. The status percentage are just around 80% all round. I'm not really too sure what you're saying there. Yeah, I think I put you guys to 10th or 11th pre-season, but again, that was because I hadn't seen you guys show anything in regards to an improvement on the attack, but now you have, so I'm happy to be proven wrong there and put my hand up and say I was wrong, just like I was wrong last year. The Warriors have this real tendency in recent years, and Warriors fans didn't back them in for the top 8 last year. Going into the year, in 2025, Warriors fans didn't even back them for the top 8. But then obviously they surprised everybody and got themselves into the top 8, which was absolutely incredible. And they were in the top 4 and then dropped down to about, I think, 6th or 7th maybe. I can't remember. I think it was 6th and the Panthers maybe came 7th, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, so they have this tendency where you go into the season thinking, I just don't know. I don't know if they're going to be able to keep... 2024 was awful for them, so 2025 was a surprise. And then this year, they fell off so hard in the second half of last year that you didn't have faith in this year, but yet they've gone and gotten even better. So it's incredible stuff, and next year, you're probably going to tip them for a top 4 spot. And then you watch them disappoint on that. You know, it would not surprise me in regards to you just never know what Warriors team is going to come into a full season. But either way, they've proven everyone wrong last year. And I'd say they've proven most people wrong this year. I feel like most people would have had them for a drop-off, but people might have still had them for around that top 8. Again, I still have them around the top 8, but I just didn't have them there on the basis that we didn't see that attack. Ben says, aspects not woohoo, but boohoo. Tiger Hood says, Roger's back. Expect Alofi to grab a couple tries. Yeah, I'm backing him for a first try and a couple of tries tonight. I do love a bit of Alofi multiple try game. Art Blim says, Tamati Martin is a gun, but as a Warriors fan, would love to see Jet get a run, being so good in Cup. I don't know if you're throwing him into the fire now. You'd be throwing him into a second place team. Right, how's he been going in Cup? I don't know. I haven't been watching him in Cup. Emmanuel says, I feel as a Waz fan, Dragons are going to come out strong. They showed at least some form against the Panthers, and our Waz have had some terrible history against the lower table teams, but still Waz W. I 100% agree with that comment. I think most Warriors fans can attribute themselves to that. Just another human says, come for the stats, stay for the rants. The rants are here, mate. The rants are always here. Sam Jenga, member for 37 months, says, can't wait for 0-11 to make his debut this Arvo. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh boy, Sam's coming for the old Dragons here. I've just seen Surfer says, hello, no answer. So Surfer, mate, you can obviously see that you are not the only person watching this stream. You can see that the chat is, no freeze, shut up, Crypt Talk. You're a muppet. You can obviously see that there is a lot of people here right now, and it's not just all about you, mate. So I will get to your comment when I can get to it as fast as I possibly can. But as you can see, it's not just the stream for Surferman J 2091 here. There is other people that I'm replying to first, and then when I get to your comment, I will get to your comment, man. So just be a little bit patient, bro. The game starts in 15 minutes time, and then we'll get into the game. But for the time being, we are still going through all the comments from before. Rodder Thompson says, why the Titans on top? What dream was that in? Well, that's the official table right now, mate. I've taken that straight across from the NRL.com, so I don't know what you're complaining about. This isn't a lie channel. We don't lie here, mate. We're very honest. This is an extremely honest channel that we just talk serious business. And if you're saying the Titans aren't on top of the table, well, you can take that up with the NRL. You can take that up with the NRL because it's not me. Prove it. Prove it right now. Prove it right this very second that the Titans aren't in first position, because right now I can see it. I can see it right there. So you're lying to yourself. You're lying to yourself, and it's sad. I feel for you. I feel sad for you that you don't believe in the ultimate dynamic power that is the Gold Coast Titans. It's sad business. It's sad. A6 Angles, exactly, serious channel here, Roger, mate. Get a grip of yourself, Roger. You know, this is a very serious channel. Nintendo says, if Dragons don't get a win during the Origin, I don't know when they get their first win this year. But again, who are they playing that has Origin, that is seriously impacted by Origin? Miss Me says, I haven't been tuning in lately. Please, quick thoughts on the Origin teams. Love them or hate them. I think that they're over-hated, but I feel like Origin teams are always hated. People are always going to have their individual perspective and individual opinions that are going to go against everything that, it's going to go against everything that these coaches do see. Like, for example, Billy Slater has been criticised quite a bit in recent years for the Origin teams that he selects, and yet they have, gone above and beyond what you would expect. Last year was a prime example of that. So, yeah, I would say that I'm I'm completely sweet with it for the most part. Look, I think Tony Staggs is extremely lucky despite the suspension to be able to get in, and Stephen Crichton is lucky to be selected despite his awful form so far this season. I do love the Tedesco selection for New South Wales. Toltau Kuala is a great player. Get him on the wing. Fantastic shout. I do feel that Casey McLean should have been in the centres above Tony Staggs, in my personal opinion, based on what we've seen so far this year. But Staggs has technically been there before. He has been there before. So that's why I would say it's okay that they've selected Tony Staggs in comparison. But look, at the end of the day, until we see what happens in the first game, it just is all speculation and perspective and discussion surrounding it. But no, I think it's fine. Sam Walker was always going to be selected for mine because they built him into being that next halfback up the cherry, but Tom Dearden came in and killed it and did a job, and now Sam Walker's getting his opportunity, so we'll see what he can provide there. Hamiso and Tween the centre's great. Cubbo, I love Fafita being there. Most underrated player in the game. Selwyn Cubbo started off rough at the Dolphins, but really picked up some form. Ponga, I did understand that selection. I think that Ponga was the original fullback prior to Reece Walsh coming in. And then he took himself out, which is why Reece Walsh came in. Because if Kalen Ponga didn't remove himself from Origin eligibility, I think last year, whatnot, you probably would have still seen Kalen Ponga be the guy. But because he decided to take himself away from it, that's why Reece Walsh got his opportunity, and it was solid. It was great. It was fine. I don't think that he really lit it up overall, but like he was solid and it was fine. And Queensland's going to do Queensland things, but Kalen Ponga getting selected is completely understandable. Filipino Donator says, yes, I think Dragons are worse with Dean Young in my opinion too, but again, look at the games they've played though. Laurie says, Wires and the Titans with the double W. Let's go. Hopefully, Laurie. Hopefully, from your mouth to God's ears. Surfman says, what is it with the Roosters fraud alert on the Sharks scam? Because the Sharks are a scamming bunch of scammers, and the Roosters might be the biggest fraud alert that ever did fraud alert after last week. They are frauds. Frauds, they should have won that game by 13 plus. The Cowboys had Jason Tamalolo out. They had Tom Dearden out. They were playing a Cowboys team that were not even in the top 9. They're now in 9th spot because of that and their bye. But the Roosters, they got humiliated at Magic Round by losing 18-12 to the Cowboys when the Roosters should have been winning that game 13 plus. So they are on fraud alert. And the Sharks, if we even have to mention why they are the biggest scammers that ever did scam, I'm going to lose my mind. I'm going to lose my mind if the Sharks are questioned for being scammers. Gee whiz. Gee whiz. Rogers says Warriors will play for 80 minutes. We'll see. I don't know if that's necessarily known for them, but we'll see. This year, sure, but we'll see. I've seen plenty of years, man. Plenty of years of Warriors football. I don't know if I can guarantee that. But I am backing it in, though. James says, weather upset it's not raining in Kogarah, but who knows? It's raining in Kogarah. I can see it. It's not too bad, though. It's only light rain at the moment. Could change, but it's only light rain at the moment. Laurie says, double bonus for us. Kiwis, Aucklanders tonight if Wars and Auckland FC win the A-League. Is it the grand final tonight, is it, in the A-League? I stopped watching A-League about 2019. I got back into it in 2021, and then they screwed it all over again. Is it the grand final, is it? I know they're playing Sydney. Well, they're playing Sydney. Yeah, it is the final. Well, good luck tonight, Auckland. Good luck. I am technically a Brisbane Roar fan, but if the Gold Coast ever got a team again, I would probably... Oh, dude, I probably would just straight up be Gold Coast. I would be. Just like I'm a Brisbane Heat fan, but if the Gold Coast brought a BBL team in, which they're going to in the next couple of years, then I'll be a Gold Coast fan of the BBL. And he says, Dan Young isn't going to work miracles overnight. As a fan, I just want to see improvement in the team and the boys having a crack each week. Exactly right, Addy. That's the right perspective to have. It's the right thought process to have. James says, Titans due for a win. Hope we keep it close at least. James, please, from your mouth to God's ears. I just don't want to rage. I don't want to have to blow up one game. I want to sit here. I'm going to grab a beer from the fridge. I don't usually drink on stream, but if we can just keep it close, make it enjoyable, if we can find a way to win, I can just sit back, sing Kumbaya, and drink a nice cheeky little tiger beer here in Vietnam and really just enjoy my life for a good 80 minutes. You know, for the first time in nearly history with the Titans, it would be really nice. The last time we got a win when we beat the Eels by 52, I actually took my shirt off on stream, and I think at one point we were dry humping the the microphone. So hopefully we don't get down that level of low grade pornography here on the channel if the Titans win tonight. But I just would like to enjoy my life for just one game. It would be really nice just to enjoy my life for one single game. And I love the old Foz. Get around the old Foz, but love what Manly are doing right now underneath him. My dad's a Manly fan, so I would like to beat Manly for that purpose tonight. But I also love Kieran Foran, and I've really enjoyed what Manly have been able to turn their season around. So hopefully it's a good game and the Titans can win. But if Manly do win, it's like, well, typical for the Titans, but at least I'm happy for the old Fosball. Rodden says Warriors will play for 89 minutes. What are we doing? Eco says score prediction. Geez, like on merit, it should be like 40 points based on defense. And like the Panthers are the best defensive team in the comp. They get up 6 points, so I'll give the Warriors the second best defensive team in the comp, so I'll give the Dragons 6 points on base off of that. But the Warriors aren't exactly as much of a guarantee as the Panthers, so maybe I'll go 10 points to the Dragons. And if the Warriors, if they score over 30 points tonight, they will go to the top of the table for attacking above the Panthers. So I'm going to say 34-10. It could even be 40-10. But I'm going to back them in to get that 30. I'm going to back them in to go to the number 1 attacking team in the competition. Marx has came for the NRL, stayed for the soft core. Exactly right. That's what you get during the Titans games. So yeah, I'll back the Warriors in for the 30 so they can get past that hurdle of the Panthers being the best attacking team and the Warriors would then be the best attacking team. So I'm going to back in a 40-10. That's where I'll go. Because again, I think I should give points to the Dragons on the basis they still scored 6 against the Panthers, and the Warriors aren't as much a guarantee, so I'll give them 10, and then I'll go 30-40, and potentially more, but I'll go 30-40. Yeah. Eddie Bella says, hopefully the Dragons win. Well, good luck. It would be a miracle. It would be. Kiwi Knight says, I don't know about the Dragons having a crack. Smoking crack, perhaps. Don't know why we're going down that path. But the Dragons had a crack last week against the Panthers. I think we've got to give them that. But they still have been an absolute awful watch this season. They have been an awful watch this season, and it could be another awful watch today. Patricia says, who do you believe that's going to win overall this year? Right now, I still have to take the Panthers. Like, you can't not take the Panthers right at this very second. They really haven't done anything people are going to use the Bulldogs game as an example, but they really haven't done anything to prove that they aren't going to go and win it this year. So prove me otherwise. Right now, the best teams that look likely to challenge them for it are obviously the Warriors. I think that, and this is a big change on my preseason discussion, and also the first 6 or so games. I've been very impressed with I don't think they do this. I do not think this team gets to the grand final, and I still don't even know if they make the 8, based on the fact that I still know this is what they did last year before falling off a cliff. But if the Dolphins can continue with their style of play, and they can continue with their style of earning the right to attack through their defense, they have a good chance of going along into the finals. And that's a big change in how I've discussed them before. At the beginning of the year, they showed nothing in regards to only being attack and no defense. That was what they were last year, and that's what they were at the beginning part of this year. But then there has been a switch where they will actually sacrifice their first 20 minutes of the game to benefit the final 60 minutes of the game, rather than going all-out attack from the first minute and then getting blown apart. Now, again, the Dolphins, the beginning part of the Dolphins last year did this exact same thing where they would blow teams out by 50, and then they would lose in the next week by 40 while scoring 30. But this is a different Dolphins team. So I still can't wholeheartedly be confident behind the Dolphins being massive this year. I'll read that out in a second. I still can't wholeheartedly be confident in the Dolphins this year. But I've been impressed with their style of footy in the way they've adjusted their game plan. So Warriors, Dolphins, the Roosters will still be there, but shit, that was a disappointment last week. Not confident Manly. I think Rabbitohs is next year. Sharks, don't even look at me. Don't even look at me sideways. I want you to get out of the screen right now. And I always have such belief in the Sharks, but you always let me down. So don't talk to me. Don't talk to me. Block my number. Delete my number, Cronulla. Delete my number. The Knights is not now. They've been great, but no, it's not even going to be close this year. But I do think that they make the top 8, Newcastle. However, if they played any team that wasn't the Titans last week, they would have been down 40 at half time. Jason says, have a feeling Dragons win this game. Jason, I need to ask you, it is a Saturday. If you're in Queensland, New South Wales, it's 5:30. If you're in New Zealand, I think it's about 6:30, 7:30, whatever. Point of matter is, how much have you had to drink today, is what I ask you, Jason. That's what I'm asking you. How many tequila bombs and tequila shots and Jaeger bombs and cruises have you added today? But 5 minutes to go until the game kicks off here, guys. Hit that thumbs up button, subscribe. 5 minutes to go. Can we make the Mike Wars colours? Well, I've gone green because you do have a lot of green in the Wars colours. but there's no real, like, what colors are you suggesting then? You can't make it multiple colors, but I've gone green because that is, if it was against the Raiders, I wouldn't have it green. I guess I'd go with more so the blue. But then again, Warriors and Raiders are just predominant green, whilst Warriors are secondary green with more of like maybe a dark navy blue kind of deal. But I think this is probably the best here against a Dragons team that's just red. That's right. Aussie Rob says, I'm a Manly fan, but cheering for the Titans just for the nudity. Mate, the nudity is always possible if the Titans can get a win. It's always possible. Laurie says, Foz, a great Kiwi, should be our PM. Yeah, well, I remember at the beginning of this year, pre-season, when we were doing some cricket streams for the Cricket World Cup, the T20 World Cup, we got some cricket streams actually coming up very soon with England versus New Zealand, coming up in the Test cricket. So, you Kiwi fans, if you love a bit of cricket, we'll be live for those Test matches as much as we can. We've also got the FIFA World Cup, which will have New Zealand, Australia, England, South Africa, and the likes that we'll be covering specifically, or mainly like English-speaking nations. I'll cover every game for, which will be awesome. But I remember lagging ball sacks here on the channel. He said that Kieran Foran was in the top 10 best Australians of all time. Yeah, Kieran Foran was in the top 10 best Australians of all time, which, you know, we've got Pavlova, we've got Farlap, we've got all these different things that Kiwis and Australians fight over. You guys can have Pavlova. I could not give a shit about that. Like, I'm not even a big fan of Pavlova, so that can be Kiwis all day. Farlap's ours, though. But Kieran Foran is one we'll fight over too, for sure. Yeah, because Kieran Foran... Listen, I'm going to claim it. Top 10 Australians full time. Lagging, he might have been right ahead of the times. We roasted him for it. I think we asked, like, who are the top 10 Australians of all time? And his list was just ridiculous. But he had Kieran Foran at, like, number 3. And it was incredible. So, yeah, if you thought there was enough that the Kiwis and Australians argue over in regards to who owns what, you can add Kieran Foran to the list now. Yeah, exactly right. And Lagan used ChatGPT that with Foz being an Aussie. Yeah, exactly. Rage says, would have loved to see the Warriors game against the Panthers outside of the Origin period, but you take what you get. Sure, I do think that the Panthers will play there as much of a full-strength team as they can get next week, because that is on Sunday next week. So it's like, it's still not a full week, but it's like a good 5 days after it, right? So the Warriors play the Panthers on Sunday, yeah, in the third game of the day, because we've got 3 games on Sunday and 3 games on Saturday next week, with the one game on Friday. Titans, Rabbitohs, and Dolphins will get a bye. Yeah, wait, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, there's 7 games next week. So the Panthers Warriors is the last game. I do think both teams will play their full strength rosters, because it's an important game. Especially for the Warriors. You have to play Kurt Capewell and Mitchell Barnett. But for the Panthers, it's pouring down rain now in Kogarah, by the way. It's pouring down rain. Rodder says, we have All Blacks. Can you guys beat them? Yeah, but no one in New Zealand cares about the All Blacks anymore, do they? Just like Australians don't. I care about the Wallabies, but I know Australians, like 99% of Australians, could not give an absolute shit about the Wallabies whatsoever. It has been that way for a very, very long time. And you guys are kind of going down that way too, because of the domestic rugby going downhill. So we're going to pretend that rugby union doesn't exist in that capacity. Again, I love rugby union. I love the Wallabies, and I want the Wallabies to do well. But we're going to pretend it doesn't exist just for the sole purpose of my argument here. So the All Blacks and Wallabies doesn't matter. You know, it just doesn't matter. You know, if you have something to say in regards to that, use your voice to say something here. If you're just typing it in text, doesn't matter as well. We'll just trust the person speaking on the microphone. Oh, that's me. Yeah, it doesn't matter right now. No. Trey Horn says, mate, I don't know if it's the edibles I'm on or that I haven't watched NRL in a minute, but the Titans are on top. No, that's real, mate. Yeah, no, they're undefeated. No, it's brilliant. It's brilliant stuff, Trey Horns. Yeah, this is a serious channel, man. Come on. Let's be real. And he says, I hope for my sake, but good luck to your wars. Laurie says, a good thing about the Panthers that even with late injuries at the business end, got good depth to come on. Yeah, I 100% agree. But they didn't really have many injuries overall throughout the season. Ibby says, just imagine the Dragons smash the Warriors and the fans are shocked. Well, I've seen stuff like this happen before, and I know this Warriors team. I know the Warriors. I don't think it happens, but I know what this Warriors team can do, but I don't think it happens. But I don't know. Brendan says, Knights versus Wards, grand final. Book your tickets now, folks. Do you realise, Brenton, that you would nearly be the only Knights fan in attendance at that game? I'm telling you, fans of opposite teams, if the Warriors make the grand final, I was at the 2023 grand final between the Broncos and the Panthers. The Broncos was 70-30 in regards to attendance for that grand final. I don't know what it was last year, but Broncos was 70-30 in terms of a grand final attendance. And I actually got a better read of it than a lot of other people would have, because I was able to go onto the field during that grand final. And when I stood there and I looked around, I took it all in. I'm telling you, it was a 70-30 split Broncos way. And I'm telling you, if the Warriors make it, it'll be a 90-10 split. It will be a straight up 90-10 split to the Warriors. I promise you. They will shit that crowd all over. New Zealand, you will have so many people flying over from New Zealand. You have a lot of Kiwis in Sydney already. You have a lot of Kiwis in Brisbane, and you have a lot of Kiwis all over the place in Australia. I'm telling you, it'll be like an 80-20 or a 90-10 split New Zealand. Do you want that as you being the opposing team? I don't know. It's pouring down rain here in Kogarah, by the way. They're walking out to the field now. Samuel Nixon, you're getting timed out for 5 minutes. We have not seen 30 points hit today. Samuel Nixon, you've said 50 bomb already. You're getting timed out for 5 minutes. We'll see ya. We'll see ya. Brenton says, our fan base put 30K at home when we won the spoon. We will turn up. Come on, Brenton. Be real, man. Like, be real. I'm telling you, Warriors would outdo... I believe, wholeheartedly, it would still be a 70-30 split with the Bulldogs. And we all know what the Bulldogs bandwagon fan base can be like. So... yeah, I don't know about that. I really don't. Like, again, I'm not saying that you won't get any Knights fans there, but it will be a massive split in favour of the Warriors. Massive. It doesn't matter who they play. But the atmosphere of Bulldogs-Warriors grand final would be unbelievable, by the way. Unbelievable. Gary says, g'day everyone. Blaze, how are you all doing? Looking forward to a shock Dragons win and also a Manly victory. Beautiful new mic, Blaze. Never sounded so good, buddy. Appreciate you, Gary. Yeah, hopefully it's a good game here tonight, but no Manly victory tonight, Gary. No way. Gary, let's not be stupid. Come on, Gary, get on with the times. Titans win 13 plus. Mark says, diabolical. Bro was playing for the Kiwis like last week. I will add this to the list. Who's this? Who are we talking about here? So the Dragons have now run out to the field. The game is about to get going here. Give us some score predictions in the chat. Warriors, the finals contenders 2026. Well, definitely finals contenders. It's been raining all down the northern beaches too. Yeah, it's pouring down here. It is pouring down. Evan Kill says, rugby has finished the world over. They changed the rules. They lowered the ceiling level to center to try and beat the All Blacks. And all footy fans of any code hate that more than anything. It's just too start for me now. Like, I love rugby. I grew up rugby as well. I would love to see the Wallabies doing better. They're actually overhated considering they still made a grand final, a final of the World Cup in 2015 and lost the All Blacks, mind you. But they are overhated for the most part, besides maybe the last World Cup where they were just awful under Eddie Jones because he's an idiot. But that was always seen because Eddie Jones is a moron. And I will straight up say that too. But overall, rugby has definitely gone down on a negative trajectory because we don't have a domestic competition down in the Southern Hemisphere that is of any worthwhile at all as well, mind you. But the Warriors will kick this ball off and the Dragons will get this at the 10. Hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you're new around here. The game has got started. Nikhil says 38-12 to the Wires. Let me just refresh this live score here and then you can have the live score below us. Bing bong. Hello. Now we are on. Second tackle for the Dragons. They're going to be the 20 and they get it off to... Toby Couchman, who'll bring it out to the 30. Michael says, anyone familiar with Luke Sports Vlogs? That doesn't surprise me, dude. No, I've got Luke Sports Vlogs hidden on this channel. No one here who enjoys my content, whatnot, will ever enjoy any kind of content from that kind of person. There is a lot of history in regards to that from that individual. So you just ignore that, man. Yes, he's quite well known for racist slurs and some really negative stuff, and that's why he'll never grow as a content creator, and that's why he'll never be respected in regards to anything, because he is just a unfortunately vile person in regards to how we can react in those certain situations. So yeah, you just ignore moments like that, man. Emilio's a great dude. Emilio, he does what he can for the Canterbury Bulldogs. Warriors ball here at the 18, second tackle. You just ignore people like that, mate, because there is unfortunately a lot of losers online in that capacity. And it's a penalty to the Warriors at the 20. Lovedown Campera receives a penalty for a high tackle. The Warriors are going to get outside the 20. But yeah, again, unfortunately, there's a lot of people like this. So just ignore that, man. And Emilio knows that. Gary says, that was a great era for Aussie Rugby Union Rage. I was at the New Zealand vs. Oz semi-final in Dublin in 91. That was a great Aussie side. Yeah, back then. Gee whiz, unbelievable back then. Roger says, at least I don't dream of the Titans in the lead. Mate, this is the official... Roger, what's your obsession with the Titans right now? Your team, the Warriors, are playing as we currently speak, Roger. You know the Titans aren't playing right now. You're so focused on the Titans, you're not focusing on your own team. Are you actually subtly a Gold Coast Titans fan? Second tackle here for the Warriors. They're at the 30. I said Lofana Campero first try scorer tonight. Aaron Clark, Jackson Ford. I reckon he can get over the strip as well. I'm going to go Jackson Ford for any time, and same with Loff. So third tackle now for the Warriors, and Wade Egan's going to go out to the left-hand side onto Tamati Martin. Tamati Martin now at the back here. Harrison Vida, Roger Tuivasa-Sheck. He'll be taken down to the 10 on fourth tackle. The Warriors could go over immediately here. Fourth tackle. They go from Lecker to the right-hand side. Wade Egan, then off to Emily Martin. Short ball to Laban, who knocks the ball on. Oh, that's bad. That's a bad knock on there from Jacob Laban. And it will be Clint Gutherson, zero tackle at the 13. Zero tackle. Hubbard says Super Rugby is crap this year. It's not worth watching. Yeah, I love my Fiji and Drua, mate. Obviously, I've grown up in Fiji a lot of my years, and my family's all in Fiji. But, besides that, I just couldn't really... I don't actually watch the Super Rugby that much. I was watching the Fiji and Drua when they were in the NRC. Is that what it was called back in the day? But when they were playing teams like the Western Force, when they're in the lower division, and also Canberra Vikings or something like that. I was watching them then, but I'm just not interested in Super Rugby at any level nowadays. Second tackle here at the 45 on their own side of the field for the Dragons. They got a 6 again. Damien Cook now brings his ball to the 43 on third tackle. Gary says sound quality is amazing, mate. Yeah, that's good to hear. Eddie Jones slander. I love it. He's ruined the Japan national team now too. Eddie Jones is a muppet. He is an absolute muppet. He's an absolute muppet. I have absolutely no interest in Eddie Jones. He is a muppet. He's always the victim in his mind. Fifth tackle now at the 25. The way that he destroyed anything from the Wallabies in that last World Cup was just horrific. Dragons are fifth tackle. They're going to get slapped at the 15. What on earth was that? They did not kick the ball. They just passed the ball to Val Holmes, who got rocked in the tackle by Adam Pompey. And now it's Warriors ball at the 15. That was absolutely diabolical. Marcus says, let's do this up the Waz. Emilio is such a very humble human being. Absolutely. Emilio's an amazing dude. I've had a lot to do with Emilio over the years, and I know he's got great love for me, and I got great love for him. Emilio's it's a penalty to the Dragons here for what? The bunker, late contact on Kyle Flanagan. So it's a penalty to the Dragons here from Tamati Martin. And he's on report. All right, so Kyle Flanagan. Yeah, it is late. No, it's a late hit there from Tamati Martin. It's a correct call. It's a correct call. Tahiti's win the World Cup, is it, Rage? I reckon. If it's not the Socceroos, it's probably Australia. No, Spain do have a really good chance to win this World Cup. First tackle for the Dragons, and they're going to bring this ball. Second tackle through Locker Pacifica Junior Tonga to the 5 on second tackle. Damien Cook. Could the Dragons score first here? Daniel Atkinson goes the right-hand side. Oh, Buchanan will be taken down to the 5 on third tackle. Warriors show this defense right now. Hey, get it to Daniel Atkinson. Then off to Loco Jr. 4 tackle. 10 metres away. Nothing really going on for the Dragons as we currently speak. And Ryan Couchman. Wow, he got close. 1 metre away. Fifth tackle. Fifth tackle. Damien Cook to Kyle Flanagan. Then off to Gutho. Played out there by the Warriors. And Gutho gets the ball. It's going to be 6 again here for the Dragons. First tackle. 15 metres out. Paintbrush is 40-0 to the Warriors. Edson says far out Dragons suck. Well, they're pumping the line right now. But they're not really doing too much with the ball though. Second tackle here at the 9. Roll back to Damien Cook. He'll get it to Kyle Flanagan. Flanagan, quite slow there. Nothing going on at all here. Third tackle here at the 5. Hubbard says, slip over Dragons. Come on. They go to the left. Damien Cook. Ryan Couchman. He slipped into that. Fourth tackle at the 5. This is a very wet field right now, guys. Damien Cook. He'll get out to Flanagan. Atkinson. Short ball. Good run. It's like an NFL pass. And Setu too will score. Setu 2 will score, and he's really going to get entertained to Alpiki there. Have a look at you. Setu 2 is going to score in a corner. It's 4-0 with a kick to come. That might have been the worst pass that ended up being the greatest pass of a try. That is one of the worst passes that have ended up being one of the greatest passes here. It's, is it Hamish? No, is it Dylan Egan or Hamish Stewart? I get confused a little bit between these two. It's an NFL throw. It goes backwards. It's fine. It's completely fine of a pass, but it was such an awful pass that it still ended up being a try. Oh, boy. The pass was from Hamish Stewart, yeah. I sometimes get confused between the two. But no, it was Hamish Stewart with the NFL pass backwards. 4-0 to the Dragons with a kick to come. Wowee. Nikhil, you're just saying Portugal for the sake of Cristiano Ronaldo, aren't you? But Setu 2 really lit up Tane Tuapiki there. You can't really blame Tane Tuapiki with that. Try time, bing bong, bada bish. Edson says that cameraman just got set of twos, bum in his face. Patrick Mahomes, woohoo. Well, it went backwards, though. It was definitely backwards. Ben says Dragons need to do more passes like that, a new game plan. I don't know if I would suggest doing more passes like that, man. I don't know about that. I don't know about that one at all. 4-0 here, 7.5 minutes in. And big kick here for Val Holmes on the sideline. Not a great start here for the Warriors. You know, that knock on when they were already attacking the line. Val Holmes, great kick. He gets it over the post, and it will be 6-0 to the Dragons, 8 minutes in. The Warriors had their opportunity early, but then a knock on from Jacob Laban. Warriors fans, I want to ask you specifically, do you rate Jacob Laban? I know he's played for the Māori Indigenous side, but I see him knock the ball on quite a bit. I'm not as excited about Jacob Laban as maybe other people are. Maybe I'm just seeing something that others aren't, or maybe I'm just completely wrong here, but I'm not exactly a massive Jacob Laban fan. Jared Ford says, who called 40-0? You're out. Yep, 40-0 is out. Unless it's the Dragons. Maybe he was saying 40-0 to the Dragons. he's still in then. Edson says, Dragons starting a new passing revolution. Rodder says, I can't watch the Warriors are playing against 14 men. Don't do this, bro. First tackle here at the 15. Seb Watson says, only the second time Dragons have scored first this season. I think they scored first against the Titans, no? And they lost that game. 20-14, but I think that would have been against the Titans. I don't think we scored first, did we? Be my Valentine. No, get Laban out of here. Velimir says, how's the Titans first? Wait, what? So basically, we removed the Panthers have been removed based off of salary cap cheating, and they decided that instead that the Titans, who are currently undefeated, will take their spot. So yeah, we were giving everybody a nice little head start, but because the Panthers cheating ways, we got to see the Titans go to first instead. And that goes up. That's going to be knocked back even the Dragons, but then there's going to be a knock on for the Dragons. So it'll be Warriors ball here at the 15 on their own side of the field. Benzo, here we go. The ref blaming. Sione Halasima says, hell nah, put Laban back on the interchange. Well, it's like, who do you put there instead? But with that being said, I really do think that Jacob Laban isn't the kind of guy that I'd like to be going forward with. But again, I'm not really trying to shit on him. I just don't see as much as what other people see. With that being said, though, I didn't see a great deal out of... Who was the player that I criticised for quite a little bit, but then he really turned into a fantastic player? Oh, knock on even the Warriors. Dragons ball at the 45. Warriors, this is getting concerning. This is getting really concerning right now. And he says, looking good so far is Val. Let's hope he keeps it up. Well, the Dragons have got another opportunity here. 35 metres out. Setu 2, first tackle. 10 minutes going in the first half, guys. 30 minutes to go in the first half. Hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you're new around here. Jumper says, frauds alert. Well, the thing is, whoever loses to the Dragons first, if you're in the top 9 on this screen, you do go into scam. So just be aware of that. You will go straight off from fraud to scam. But there's 70 minutes to go here. Let's relax. But it's just not been a great start from the Warriors at all. Third tackle now to 15. They roll it back to Damien Cook. He'll get it across to Daniel Atkinson. There's a knock on there from the Dragons. And the Warriors will get the ball here at the 13. Knock on live, Velimir. Nobody cares about the Dolphins right now. The Dolphins are not playing here today. No, they are not playing here today. Gary, the problem with the England is we do have a good squad, but the fans' expectations are so over the top. I think we will get to the semi-final, but I can't see us winning it unless they all click and we have a bit of luck. That is true, but also it's England on the global scale is, and you're going to hate this, but England on the global scale when it comes to football, people do consider you guys like an Arsenal. They do. Yeah, I would say England are like the equivalent of an Arsenal, but on the world football scale. Nelson says, and I know you'll hate that, do you think the wet weather advantages Dragons or Warriors better? It comes down to just who can hold the ball more. Like, I don't think... Ultimately, they're both playing in the same conditions, and who can hold the ball more? So far, the Warriors haven't held the ball. Dragons have scored a try. They dropped the ball too. It's going to be a difficult game here for both teams in regards to these conditions, but at the end of the day, the Warriors are second and the Dragons are 17th, so the quality should still shine out regardless. However, you did lose Tanner Boyd. The Warriors lost Tanner Boyd, which is a big loss to their attack, but they get Tamati Martin in, but is he going to be able to bring the same quality from the 7 as we've seen from Tanner so far this season? It's a great question. Jackson Ford is going to get this ball to basically the 50 on fit tackle. Laban's a monster. Time will tell. He's so strong. Okay, well, we'll see. I just see a lot of knock-ons in him. Someone says, we started early with the excuses. Ref Rain, Blaze jinxing them. Stop being shit, that's on you. Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, first it was me jinxing the Warriors, and then it was the Rain, and then it was the refs. What are we getting to next? Maybe I've included the label. Roger Tuivasa-Sheck has come off the field with an injury here, guys. God bless him. Eddie Jeremiah Tuava comes on, but a knock on for the Dragons, and Wade Egan gets his ball off, and they go quickly to the left-hand side of Lofiana Khan-Pereira. Lofiana Khan-Pereira at the 25 to the 20. He's still going here. The 15. Lofiana Khan-Pereira. Try time for the Warriors. Well, I called him first try scorer, but he's actually just going to be the first try scorer for the Warriors. He will be the first try scorer for the Warriors, not the first try scorer in the game, but Luffy Cabrera, he will score, and it's 6-4 here with a kick to come. Oh boy. Gary says, I know and understand that, mate. Don't hate that. Our over-the-top fans make it hard for us to be liked. Yeah, weak defense there, Gary. The knock-on from the Dragons, brutal. And then, the ball just comes out. Loffy set to 2, misses a bad tackle. And then 3 players surround Loffy. No one makes a tackle. And then as soon as he gets into open space, we know he's going to score. So Lofiana Khan-Pereira scores right next to the post. And it's about to be 6 points to 6. Funny says, your try scorers have been on point. Yeah, I have been. Yesterday I said my guarantee was... on Thursday, my guarantee was Zach Hosking for the Raiders, and he scored. And then yesterday, I went with a guarantee for Satili Tupanua, and he got a try as well. Yeah, and then today, my guarantee was essentially Loff, and I said for a couple, and first try scorer, and he's got the first try scorer for the Warriors, but unfortunately, the Dragons already conceded. Tiger Hood says, I have Loffy for the double. Mitchell says the Dragons deserve to lose every game with the name of this stadium. It's just a ridiculous name. Make it simple, man. No, Gary. Origin players cannot play this round. New mic sounds a lot better. Yeah, no, it's good. It gives me a little bit more space too. I know it was still connected to this, and I still have my hands free and all that sort of stuff, but it just feels a lot better actually with this than it did with that. And also, if I do jump up and celebrate or whatnot and knock this out, it doesn't actually impact the audio. It just impacts me being able to hear the game. Now, also, did AKP decide to leave the Titans, or was he moved on? He was an unfortunate loss due to Dez. Unfortunately. But he has improved a lot in his game. The thing is that Loffy is Loffy. He is a great attacker. He's not an amazing defender, but he's in a better team with the Warriors. He would have done this for any team. He would have been even better for a team like, say, amazing for the Panthers or whatnot. But the thing is that the Panthers would never got him for him because they love a defensive-minded winger as well, like a Brian Tuttle kind of deal. But Loffy is a brilliant attacker, and he scores tries like that all the time for the Titans, and whenever he got the ball, and he's scoring tries for fun here at the Warriors because they're also a better team. Justin Barton says, "What a brother, let's go to the Warriors and Auckland FC. Good luck, everyone's multis." Well, the Warriors, they're 6-6, 14 minutes in. The Warriors with the ball here at the 23. That's a 6 again, I think I just heard. Yes, it is. Tane Tuapiki brings it to the 30 on first tackle. Rodder says, well, the Dragons drop the ball and they get a penalty to score for a good try. Oozes. Yeah, that's pretty much, that's what happened. Roger, are you okay today? Are you okay? 6 again here with the Warriors, and they're going to get this ball here to the 50. Benny West says, Warriors 13-18, but Dragons will win. Well, Benny, listen, your comments are usually quite controversial, and this one's controversial too. Jackson Ford gets his ball to the 40. I've backed in Jackson Ford for a try here today as well. I'd like to get both of them. I didn't actually say any Dragons try scorers. Aaron Clark, it's good offload away to Wade Egan, then off to Jackson Ford, and Jackson Ford's going to be at the 30, now the 25 on third tackle. See if it's Aaron Clark next to score. Great offload there from Jackson Ford. Comes back to the 30 for Aaron Clark. Then off to Tane Tuapiki. And Tuapiki's going to be at the 25. At the 20. He'll be taken down third tackle. And 6 again. Even the Warriors, they just call. Yeah, they did. Oh my goodness me. Dragons. Ill-disciplined. First tackle now for the Warriors at the 15. That's 3-6 against on the set. They've just walked him up the field. Fisher Harris now. He's going to be 5 meters away from the line. Second tackle. They roll it back, Wade Egan. They get it off to Jackson Ford, and Ford is going to get this ball to about the 3 on third tackle. They roll it back. Oh, that's going to be 6 again. That has to be 6 again. Guffer's got his hands all over it. They didn't call it, though. Out of the right-hand side, that's going to be knocked on here from the Dragons. Daniel Martinez-Lesniak, it's going to be first tackle at the 15. Nope, there's going to be a penalty here to the Warriors. Don't take the 2 here, Warriors. You're all over them. Go for the try. Go for the try here, Warriors. Like, you can go for the 2 and lead 8-6, but go for the try. Like, you're all over them. That's 3 6-agains into a penalty for high contact. The referee's warning them now. The next one's going to be a sin bin. I would go to I'd take the scrum here, Warriors. Take the scrum. A lot of tries are scored off of scrums this year. If you don't score a try and force another penalty out of them or another 6 again out of them, and you will see a bin. And that's what they're going to do. They're going to go for the try. Not the scrum, but they're going to go for the try. Jackson Ford used to play with the Dragons too, mind you. He will be at the 3 on first tackle. If you can get another 6 again or a penalty out of them right now, you will see a sin bin for the Dragons. And then you'll blow this game apart. Fisher Harris is going to be 5 metres away from the line. Second tackle. 5 metres away. Lecker the wrecker. He'll be 2 metres out now. Third tackle. Not much going on this set so far. Wade Egan goes out to Tamati Martin. Tries out the wise. Tamati Martin too easy. 10 points to 6 with the kit to come. Tamati Martin right on through. That was very snappy, bro. That was very quick. Very, very quick. That was a really nice play the ball. Really nice work there from Tamati Martin to catch out the 3-on-2, and he realised that because it's 3-on-2, if he passes it becomes 2-on-2, but by him just running it straight through himself, he's got the easy gap. Daniel Atkinson, poor defence. He looked for the inside run of, I think that might have been Taintor Picky. Who was the one who ran through the line just then? It was completely fine. There's nothing wrong with it, like an obstruction or whatnot, but someone runs through the line here. I think it might be Tane. Either way, though, it gives a space for Tamati Martin just to walk through the line. Try time. Justin Barton says, Jackson got ripped off. I agree. Should be wearing a sky blue jersey. Most on-form forward. I don't care what anyone else says. Yeah, but the thing is that, what do you mean? I don't care what anyone else says. Everyone is saying the same thing as you. It's a pretty common consensus and common notion that Jackson Ford should have made the New South Wales side this year. Dragons won the last 3 or 4 there. Yeah, but different Warriors team. Dragons are 0-11. They are. And they're on point right now to, unfortunately, go 0-12. Well, they're not 0-11. They have had a bye, so they'd be 0-10. But if you think... Well, the bye did apparently beat the Dragons, so they maybe... Oh, he's going to miss the kick here, Harris Tavita. So we'll stay 10-6 here. Tanner Boyd wouldn't have missed. He wouldn't have missed because he never misses, mate. He never misses. Argue with a wall. There is an injury, unfortunately, for the Dragons. Is this Buchanan? Is this Buchanan? I can't recognise him from his face. And I can't see his number right now. Who was that, Dragons fans? Was that Hayden Buchanan? Maybe. Maybe it was Buchanan. Could be wrong. Let me know in the chat. I couldn't see his number and I couldn't recognise him from his face. But there is an injury to a Dragons player. God bless him. Number 20 here for the Dragons. So, yeah, it is Hayden Buchanan. I was right. Gary says, mate, just wanted to send best wishes to Jairo following his MND diagnosis. Such a terrible disease. We lost Rob Burrows from Super League and a few other sports stars. Big research gone over here. Yeah, the AFL do some amazing stuff with the MND. I know the NRL will take it really seriously now. Obviously, we have the Mark Hughes Foundation. It's a real big priority in the game. But I know MND will be a huge part of it going forward as well now, which... is very important. We've spoken about Jair on these previous streams, and God bless him. I messaged him saying, "God bless you, brother." He obviously is a good man. He's a larrikin. He's a funny dude, and unfortunately, he's just going through, one of the worst things that can possibly happen, and obviously impacts the game regardless of who you support. Obviously, hits quite home for a Titans fan like myself. He played with the Titans and was one of our best players back in the days. Played with the Broncos, plays for the Rabbitohs, and they'll be hitting home for the Rabbitohs fans for sure. But regardless of who you support, it's such a huge thing that's happened, and God bless him and his family in this incredibly difficult time. But Setu 2 will get this ball at the 18 on first tackle. Evan says, Tamati Martin was good at the Broncos as well, I think. I can't really remember him for the Broncos, to be completely honest with you. Nikhil says, Dragons were on top. Their poor discipline has cost them bad. Yeah, well, they knocked the ball. They scored the try, but the Dragons did actually go over the stripe first against the Roosters too, mind you, but it was taken as a no try, and they got beaten 62-16, so they can actually start. Again, the first 60 minutes of a game, the Dragons are usually quite well in the game. It's the last 20 that really blows them apart, so they've at least shown some good positivity in this first 20 minutes, but at the end of the day, they are down 10-6. 20 minutes gone here. 20 minutes to go with the first half. Hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. Don't forget, we've got the Manly Seagulls taking on the Gold Coast Titans right after this. Alofiana Khan-Pereira. He's going to bring this ball now to the, I think, the 35 on first tackle. No, it's the 15, sorry. Completely off it. Lek Alasima now second tackle. He'll be at the 22. Thank you very much, Daniela, for the $5 donation. Please don't use donations to self-promote. At the end of the day, just keep on, buddy, working hard for it and just keep on putting in the effort and whatnot. I don't know if that's a big page or not a big page, but either way, please don't use donations and whatnot to self-promote on this channel. Otherwise, it just opens up a world of everyone using. I appreciate the donation and whatnot, but if you do that, it just encourages everybody to do that, and then people will actually decide not to do it. Like if you do stuff like that, unfortunately, you'll make people want to not do that just because you've told them to do that via using a method that probably isn't the greatest. So again, I completely support you with what you're doing and all that kind of jazz, but I'm just telling you, I know how people act and people are online, and people will actually deliberately not do that just because you've promoted it like that. But God bless you. Thank you for the donation. Mitchell says, Dragons need Carmichael Hunt. What are you talking about? Ben says... Neil Danner has it, but he's still standing strong. We know Jai's strong too. Wishing them all love in the world. Sebastian says Titans lost Boyd, Clark, and Luffy, not Luffy. Yeah, no. Well, Tanner Boyd, obviously, it was time for him to move. Love him. You guys know my admiration for Tanner Boyd. Tyrell Sloan taking out the halfway point of 4 tackle, but it was time for him to go. And get a fresh new scene. He did so well at the Wilds for his injury. Loffy was an unfortunate situation due to Des, and Aaron Clark wanted to go home where his mum was. His mum left the Gold Coast and went back to Auckland. And he's from Auckland. So I don't. Oh, there's a chance for a try for the Dragons. No, there's going to be a penalty, I think. Yep, penalty for contact on the Warriors, and it will be Warriors kicking the ball away from the 10 here. Otherwise, it would have been a try because the Dragons kicked that through. Kiwi Nod says, what would Hunt do? No, not reading the rest of that out. Flames on Games says, hopefully the multi hits and then I'll donate too. Good vibes for the Titans game. I appreciate that, Flames on Games. Donations and whatnot are never required here to watch the channel, as long as you guys are enjoying the channel and getting involved in the chat and having fun. That's the main thing. Obviously, that's the whole purpose of this all. But if people do, much appreciated. First tackle here for Leka Halasima. He'll be at the 45 on their own side of the field, and he's lost the ball here. Leka the Wrecker has unfortunately wrecked this set, and it'll be Dragons ball here at the 45. Dragons ball. Jim Master, so keen with the passion in the next game. I know there's a bit of swearing, but the passion is awesome. Yeah, look, swearing just happens during Titans games, bro, but you got to forgive me for that. you got to spare me a little bit there. Dragons home game. Why is the... Oh, that's actually a good point, Brenton. I put it for the Waz. That's actually a great point. I should make it red. My bad. That is actually my bad. Give me 1 second here. Hopefully it doesn't freeze the computer up by me changing this. Bing bong. There we go. You're right. Sorry, Warriors fans. Sorry, Warriors fans, but it is a Dragons home game. So there we go. Now it is red. Okay, Dragons ball here at the 40 on first tackle. And 6 again for the Dragons. They will get this ball to the 30 on first tackle now. Nikhil says, just hit the like and subscribe. It also helps us find more like-minded league fans. Exactly right. They get the offer of the way here, the Dragons. And now Loco Pacifica Junior Tonga. He'll be at the 30 on second tackle. Ben says, at least Daniela helped you with that dono. I appreciate it. You're exactly right. You know, we appreciate it, but I'm just providing them advice because I know... oh, that's a knock-on from the Dragons. It's a double knock-on, but it'll be Warriors ball at the 25. Edson says, tons of blue in their logo. Well, I would say you could just go with blue because the predominant colour of the Warriors is that dark blue, but I just think there's so many teams that you'll have blue for, and there's only one other team that will have green, that's the Raiders. And the secondary colour for the Warriors is also green. There is also a ton of green in their logo, but their jerseys are more so blue, so... You can either go blue or you can go with the green. I just think that with the Warriors, I just feel like it represents them a bit more, the old green. I don't mind it as a secondary. Shumaster, sorry, it's been asked 100 times, but who do you think is winning Origin Game 1? I think it's actually going to be closer than I originally thought. I thought New South Wales should have absolutely ran through it, but I do feel like Queensland will turn up for it. I'm going to back in my boys, Queensland 1 to 12, because I just know that when you don't believe in them, they find a way to do it. But on paper, New South Wales should still win, yeah. The goal is to donate so much that you fly for a weekend to a Titans home game. Mate, we'll be in Vegas next year. We'll be in Vegas no matter what. I don't think that's a Titans home game, though, is it? I think we're still the away team there against the Parramatta Squeals. But we did beat the Eels as the away team this year by 50. And that was actually at their home ground. Jackson Ford, he'll bring this ball fit tackle to the 38 on the Dragon side of the field. Bella says, what is your second favourite team? I don't have a second favourite team, but I have a soft spot for the Sharks because of my mum, and I also have a soft spot for the Wars just because I'd like to see them do something. But I don't have a second team. Oh, Warriors actually catch this. They get the ball out the back, and Tate to a pick. It's still fit tackle, and then he loses the ball. So Dragons will get this at the 10. It'll be 0 tackle. Kyle Flanagan's going to flick that all the way across. It's still Dragons ball, though. Setu 2 is away here. No, he'll get taken down to the 15. Nearly got away, though. Nearly got away. New South Wales bench is horrific. I don't know about the word horrific, but I do think that, again, a guy like Jackson Ford should have been in their team. I do think that. Elijah says Queensland will win 13 plus. Yeah, appreciate that, Elijah. I would have no idea if Hayden's going Michael. I'd say him and Em will go. Em's his partner. She's a Dragons fan. I'd say that him and Em would probably end up going, and then I can punch him in the face when the Titans win by 50. Full tackle now at the 40. Full tackle. But no, he loves America, dude. He goes to America nearly every year. Oh, no, there's a big injury here for the Warriors. 6 again here for the Dragons too, mind you. Fisher Harris is down on the ground. Oh, no, he's okay. He's okay. They thought maybe there was there's a knock on the Dragons. No, there's a penalty here against the Warriors, and they're going to take a quick tappy of the Dragons. Damien Cook at the 20. Quick play. First tackle for St George at the 18. They go Tyrell Sloan off to Kyle Flanagan. Then Val Holmes. He will get... That was one of the worst runs ever. Jackson Ford just romped him back at the 21. They give it off here to Hamish Stewart, and Stewart's going to be 11 metres out here from the line on third tackle. They roll back to Damien Cook. Damien Cook off to Emre Gula. Gula looking for an offload. Be careful. Fourth tackle at the 2. He nearly lost that ball. They roll it back to Damien Cook. Cook gets it to Kyle Flanagan, then off to Toby Couchman, then back to Kyle Flanagan. Kyle Flanagan slips over and he'll be taken down to the 10 on fifth tackle. Dragons, can you find a way to do something here? Oh, he's trying to milk a high tackle here. He's trying to milk a high tackle. He's trying to milk a high tackle. He's slowly getting up. He's milking it. He's milking it. He's milking it. Adam Cheese told him just get up. You're milking this deluxe. And you've also taken away the momentum of your team here. So you actually have got them on the back foot. Oh, bro. Come on. Come on, Kyle Flanagan. This is sad. This is sad. This is sad. One, you're complaining about being hit across the eyes. You did not get hit across the eyes. You've been hit here at worst. And also, you are literally on the ground when you've been hit there. This is sad. And Adam G is not going to call a penalty here. And if he does, it's ridiculous. But also, this is just absolutely sad because you've ruined any kind of momentum and attacking possession that your team has had. James Fisher-Harris comes off with that HIA. You are not going to receive a penalty here. And Kyle Flanagan, wake up to yourself because you've just removed any kind of attacking momentum that your team has had coming into this set 10 metres out because you've tried to milk a penalty that was never a penalty. That is ridiculous. They've kicked this ball through and that is going to go for a dropout. Kyle Flanagan, that is stupid. That is stupid. Jimmy Ma with the $8 redo donation. Get around you. Jimmy Ma says, I'll donate $79.99 for Titans have a win next. Fingers crossed. Come on the Gold Coast, baby. Come on to Gold Coast. Get around you, Jimmy Ma. Thanks for the donation, brother. Thanks for the dono. But that is ridiculous from Kyle Flanagan. Justin Button says, if you could get any player to boost your Titans, who do you grab based on your current squad? Nathan Cleary. So the Warriors are going to kick this ball down to the 15. And, I don't know if this is a knock on Dragon. No, it's not. It's fine. It's Dragon's ball here at the 15. First tackle. That's putrid from Kylie. What a cat. It's just stupid. Like, he's milking a tackle that he was never getting a high tackle for. And then not only that, he ruins any kind of attacking possession that his team had in the momentum of the game. Third tackle of the Dragons at the 8. Third tackle. And says, just copy my comment then, Elijah, why don't you? There is... Oh, no, there's another player down here for the Warriors. Who's this player down here for the Warriors? He's still down. Couchman's a bit good here, though. Who is... Oh, okay, so it's the... Oh, no, he's gone into the leg of his own player, Eddie Yomai Tawava. He's going to have to come off here for a HIA for sure. He's still down on the ground here. God bless him. Couple of losses here for the Wires early doors. He's still down on the ground. He's definitely going to have to come off here. And I don't know if he's going to come back on the field because he's still struggling. Laurie says, Flanagan acting out NRL the musical. Edson says, geez, man, starting to feel bad for the Warriors. This sucks. Yeah, they're getting a few injuries in this game early doors, and inclusive of Tanner Boyd last week too, mind you. 12 minutes 20 to go here the first half. Clock is stopped. Oh, that's right. Yeah, Roger Tuivasa-Sheck went off with the knee injury. Eddie Jeremiah Tuava comes off with a HIA here. I don't know if he comes back. So they're putting Tanner Stowers-Smith now on. He's going to have to play centre because Roger went off with an injury. His replacement's now gone off with a HIA who may not be back. And Tanner Stowers-Smith comes on. You're probably going to have to move Lecker to the centre. Lecker Halasima probably has to go to the centre here. All right, so third tackle for the Dragons. They're at the Flying Couchman. He's going to be at the 10 or 4 tackle. Yeah, the injuries are flooding in right now, Nikhil, unfortunately. This is where the big teams really do show their depth. Do you have the depth to keep on cracking? Daniel Atkinson's 5 metres away from the line. Fit tackle. And roll it back to Damien Cook. He'll get it across now to fit tackle. And that was just stupid. They get the ball on fit tackle off to Ryan Couchman, their 13, who then passes the ball to Hamish Stewart for a run, and then they knock the ball on. Like, are we serious, St George? Kick the ball, dude. Pete Starr says, Kyle is desperate. Not a good idea, but I appreciate his intentions. You appreciate his intentions of milking a high tackle and ruining the attacking momentum of his team 10 metres out from the line. Are we for real? You appreciate his intentions of milk. Let's not go down that path. If we're going to appreciate the intentions of players milking, people criticize football all the time for its dives and its milking and whatnot. Well, you're effectively suggesting that we should go down the footballing path to encourage players to fake a high tackle for a penalty or an injury, or not an injury, but even fake an injury to get a player sin bin due to like a hip drop and stuff like that. Like, that's what you're essentially saying. Like, his intentions right there was to falsify for a penalty. So you want players to falsify for penalties? That was kicked out in the fall here from the Warriors. The Dragons now are going to bring this ball to the 42 on the Warriors side of the field through set to 2. First tackle. Are you having a beer with us next game, bro? Titans have a win, I feel it. If we win, I'll definitely get out the old Tiger beer from the fridge. Second tackle here for the Dragons. They're 33 metres out here from the line. 10 minutes to go the first half, guys. Hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you're new around here. The Dragons are 20 metres out. Third tackle. And because the Dragons going to beat themselves. That's what they do most of the time, dude. Damien Cook, they'll be at the 15. Fourth tackle. 6 again for the Dragons. They're getting plenty of attacking position, though. T-Ricky says, hey, brother, up the Mighty Warriors. Oh, they're just kind of getting over the line at the moment, but they've had a few injuries in this game. Partnered with Tanner Boyd last week. It's a bit rough for the Wires at the moment. Second tackle here at the 5. Damien Cook at the back to Daniel Atkinson at the 10. He'll get it across to Kyle Flanagan. Then off to Tyrell Sloan. He steps back onto the inside. Tanner Stowers-Smith, and they'll get the tackle at the 5. Good tackle around the legs there from the Wires. Kyle Flanagan goes at himself. He'll be 2 metres away from the line. 4 tackle. I just beg that on fifth tackle here, they actually kick the ball. I beg it. I really do. I beg it. Because we don't usually see the Dragons kick ever. They go to the left if they even need it. They go out. They're not going to have it. It's going to go over the sideline. They're not going to have it for the sideline. Warriors ball at 15. Warriors ball. Stephen says Titans beat Manly tomorrow. Well, that will be pretty impossible to do, Stephen. I'm going to have to disagree with you because the Titans beat Manly today. Titans play Manly after this game. Titans versus Manly is today, sir. It is right after this game. Someone says, my God, the last 10 minutes have been a shambles. Yeah, but it is awful wet conditions right now. Awful wet conditions for a team that hasn't won a game so far this season. You can expect it in regards to the drop ball. The Warriors, you'd still be liking a little bit better in regards to the drop ball, though. Lofiana Khan-Pereira, he'll bring this ball to the 45 on third tackle. I've turned on the football, so I'll be relying on your commentary now, Blaze. Thank you. Get around your Nikhil. Out of the right side to Marty Martin, then off to Jacob Laban. Fourth tackle, hold the ball. He's like our Bobby Firma for mine. You know, he can get some good plays, Jacob Laban, but he can drop a ball for sure. They give it out to Harris Avita, then across here to Leka Halasima, and Leka will be taken out of the 44. What a goofy-ass game. Tiger Hood again. It's pouring. It's really wet and slippery conditions here, man. So, of course, you're going to see some drop ball. But Tyrell Sloan catches this one at the 2. And he'll get taken down to the 5 now in first tackle. It's a good field position here for the Warriors. Jim Masters, I'm on the Bundaberg Rums tonight. I don't feel like throwing uppercuts yet. They must have changed the recipe. Unbelievable. Second tackle here at the 8. 8 minutes to go here. Wild Take saying milking penalties was a good play from that guy. Yeah, no, crazy stuff, Daniel. Third tackle here at the 15. Appreciating the intentions of milking a penalty is unreal. Fourth tackle here at the 25. Trayson getting around to Waz. Damien Cook with a quick little scoot here. Great little run to the 40 on fit tackle. Saved a pretty awful set. And they'll get it to Daniel Atkinson. He'll kick it from just outside the 40, but it goes straight down the guts, and it'll be at the 20. Tane Tuapiki to the 25 to the 30. And he'll be at the 33 on first tackle. Aussie Rob says, oh my gosh, the Dragons are shit. Well, they're still only down by 4 points here, man. It's not like the Warriors have been able to piece them apart so far. Second tackle here at the 35. I feel like most people would have expected... And 6 again here for the Warriors at 35. First tackle with Dallin Martinez-Lesniak at the 40. I feel like most people would have expected the Warriors just blow them apart from the start, but we did say in the preview that the Dragons usually stick in games for the first 60 minutes and then they get blown apart, so it's kind of filling that trajectory right now. Tanner Stowers-Smith, good run to the 28 on the Dragon side of the field. I'm feeling a try coming up here on this set. I'm feeling a try. They've already made a massive amount of meters. Aaron Clark to... Vaimalga, and Vaimalga is going to be at the 18 on 4 tackle. I swear Vaimalga usually wears the 17. Today's wearing the 14. 6 again here, Aaron Clark, and the Warriors. I'm feeling the try on the end of this set. 7 meters out. They rolled it back to Wade Egan. He'll go out the back to Tamati Martin. Tamati Martin, quick pass, Tane Tuapiki. He's away here. Dallin Martinez-Lesniak. There's the try. Was calling. Dallin Martinez-Lesniak will score in the corner. 14 points to 6 with the kick to come. Nice passing there for the Warriors out of the right-hand side, and you're always backing in the winger in that situation. You're always backing in the winger there to put that try down. That's just what they do nowadays, and Dallin Martinez-Lesniak gets out to the wing. Tane Tuapiki, good roll away from the tackle, and it's a try time for the Waz. 14 points to 6 with the kick to come. Nate J says 250 plus watching, only 60 odd likes. Got to be a Waz stream. Hit the thumbs up, you bludgers. Nate does always call you guys out for this. So Nate J is a Dragons fan, but it's not just because it's the Dragons versus the Warriors, but every single Warriors stream he does call out that the Warriors fans don't like the stream as much. So prove him wrong. Prove him wrong and hit that thumbs up button. But the Warriors, they're on 14 points to 6 with a kick to come. Raver says, we just can't defend for shit all year. What we're doing in training all week. Yeah, look, that was pretty poor defense, but overall, the Warriors, with Tane Tuapiki getting away from that tackle, rolling out, and then getting it off to Martinez-Lesniak, he is a primetime winger for being able to put the ball down in that situation. And at the end of the day, you shouldn't have really come into this game with too high expectations. I do feel like the Dragons, if they do give it a good crack next week against the Bronx, they could actually sneak that, and the Sharks as well. But right this very second, even though the Warriors haven't been great here, the conditions aren't great in general. And there's... Yeah, well, there's still a long way to go, but the Dragons are, they're not having a great year at all, and they're not going to have a great second half of the year. However, you just want to see them have a crack, and look, to be honest with you, they have had as much of a crack today as they possibly can against a really good team, but they're a long way off being where they need to be, obviously. Well, it's due for a below par game, Jeremy says. Sure, but I wouldn't even say this is a below par game. This is a very conditions-based game, in my opinion. Damien says Dragons by 60. Damien is definitely on the old Bundy Rums as well. The old Bundy Rums. Flames on Game says, yes, that's the multi, so long as Warriors win. Oh, so did you need Loffy to score and Dallin to score and Warriors to win? Well, you should be getting through with that, champion. You should be getting through with that. You should be getting through with that. All right, so they are going to kick this ball down to the 5, and Jacob Laban brings it out to the 15. Yes, Jeremy, we can see your messages. Jacob says, can't wait for the Panthers versus Warriors game, man. Yeah, next week is going to be a belter. It will be a really good game. And again, that's on Sunday, so there's plenty of time between Wednesday for the Origin players to come back for the Sunday game. If it was a Saturday game, you still might... A Friday or a Saturday game, you might have probably seen... you would have probably seen the Origin players not play, but sometimes we do actually see Origin players back up on the Friday for an important game. But Sunday, you're going to see them all back. You'll see them all back. Gary says, muted mate, red light on mic. No, this is the red light around it. I'm definitely not muted. This is just the colour of the microphone for the home team. I can change the colour based off of what team's playing. Tamati Martin's going to kick this ball down to the 10, and Tyrell Sloan picks it up. He'll bring it out here No, he gets the offload to Setu 2, and 2 might have some space here. No, Lecco wraps him down to the 10 on first tackle. 3 minutes 46 to go here of the first half. Edson says, Toby Couchman on 94 points for me. I captain him. Yeah, the Couchman boys have been really good here today. Yeah, refresh the stream because, no, definitely not muted at the moment. Scotty James, Jesus Christ King. Jesus Christ is King, sir. 4th tackle now for the Dragons at the 30. 3.5 minutes to go here in the first half. Elijah says, can the Panthers have a chance to beat the Warriors next week? So 5th tackle here for the Dragons at the 40. I can't even believe I've just read that comment out. And Daniel Atkinson's going to whack this ball down here to the 10. Like, what went into your mind before typing that comment out, Elijah? I need to ask you. What's gone in? Oh, that's bad defense from the Dragons. And Taintua Picky's away here at the 40, the 45, the 50, the 45, the 40, the 35. No, at the 38, first tackle. What went into your mind? What went into your mind thinking, do the Panthers have a chance against the Warriors next week? Jacob Laban will be at the 30 on second tackle now. They go to the left-hand side. And now Jackson Ford with the ball. He's going to bring this ball to the 20 on third tackle. Third tackle now. Wade Egan goes to the right to Tamati Martin. He's got Aaron Clark here who brings it to the 10 on fourth tackle now. Wade Egan off to Vaymoga. Then off to Tamati Martin. Short ball into the line. 5 meters out. Jacob Laban pushing. It'll be fifth tackle. They're going to go short side here. Not the play for mine, but no, not the play at all. That was awful from Wade Egan. Bro, the Dragons had 5 players defending 4 Warriors attackers there. Why would you go short side there? That's ridiculous. Totally agree. The gap between us and the top teams is so big at the moment. It just shows what the Dragons need to work on to get better and close the gap. Honestly, you just need... I hate to say this, but you're already thinking about next year. You're not thinking about this year. Right now, you'd love to avoid the spoon. But again, if Titans beat Manly today, I'd nearly lock you in for the spoon because that's essentially it's a 4-win gap. Because the Titans will be 3 wins above you, but their points differential will be about minus 80, whilst yours will be around the minus 250 area. So you're already thinking about next year. You kind of, if you lose this and the Titans win today, you kind of just have to internally kind of attribute the spoon to you guys this year, which sucks to say. And then next year you get Drinkwater, you get Phil Sami, you get Keon Koloamatangi, you get Metcalf, and you have to really build from that. But it really is getting to the point already where you're thinking about just this year's finished. And it is finished in regards to like top 8, but I'm talking about even in regard. Alofiana Cabrera brings this ball to the 25 on first tackle. I appreciate the defensive effort from the Dragons this set. Oh, Warriors gave him a really good helping hand by going short side when there was it was 5-on-4 from the defensive side of things. On the short side, which makes it even more difficult. Leka Hadasema to the 35, and now Wade Egan gets it off to Taintua Picky. That probably should be a 6 again there. They don't call it though. 4th tackle at 45. Oh, and that I will be honest with you, Wade Egan, the last couple of sets has been awful. Wade Egan choosing that short side play and then just knocks the ball on there. He needs to wake up. Wade Egan, you need to wake up here, sir. You need to wake up here. Because the last 2 sets haven't been great from him. The Warriors have been all over the Dragons, and then he's just got... That's a lazy drop. It's a lazy drop after the wrong decision short side in the last play. You go for the... You either go for the 4th set restart or you go back to the open side. But James Fisher-Harris has passed his HIA, so he'll be able to come back onto the field, which is good. I still don't know about the other Warriors player who went down, though. If he'll be able to come back. And Roger, there's a lost ball there from the Dragons, the 40. But 6 seconds to go here. That'll be the end of the half. Wilds will try to beat the Panthers and appreciate the intentions. Oh, that's a good game next week. I'm not saying my prediction in regards to next week. The reason I bit back at that was that he was asking if the Panthers have a chance against the Warriors. Like, are we serious? That's going to be a great game, but the Panthers don't have a chance against the Warriors. He's not a Warriors fan, that guy who asked that question. So that's why I'm just like, what? If you're a Warriors fan saying that, I get why you're saying that. But if you're not a Warriors fan saying that, you're just like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? But anyway, 14 points to 6 here to the Warriors at halftime. Otherwise, look, not amazing, but the conditions aren't amazing here. So fully expected in regards to how it's playing out. But let's get into the stats here at halftime, read through it all to see how it is all progressing. These stats will update at halftime. They wouldn't have gone with the full stats just yet because they will continue to update, right? So guys, hit that like button. Let's get 100 likes on this stream. Subscribe for new round here, and obviously we will be live for the Titans versus Manly game right after this, where you will see a whole different stream where I am extremely passionate for my team. But the Dragons 6, Warriors 14 here in Kogarah. The try for the Dragons was set to 2, and Valentine Holmes won from one of the conversions, where the Warriors, Alofiana Khan-Pereira, Tamati Martin, and Dallin Martinez-Lesnak on the try scorer sheet. Channel Harris-Davida, 1 from 3 on the conversions, though. You go to the possession. Hold on a second. They've removed... Oh, no, they've got it. Okay, sweet. So possession is 52% to the Dragons, 48% to the Warriors. The Dragons have actually had, funnily enough, more ball in this game. You go to the time of possession, 14 minutes here to the Dragons, 12 minutes and 59 seconds to the Warriors. This will be updated, but 25 minutes is the threshold that you're looking for. Currently, we've got 27 minutes essentially with the 59 there. So 27 minutes of gameplay. You're pretty happy with that. It's flowing quite nicely for the most part. The completion rate, though, this is the biggest issue. So 80% is the minimum that you're looking for. The Dragons are at 72%. That's not good enough. They're at 16 from 22. William says mute, man. No, it is not mute. You're going to have to refresh, sir. It is not mute. This red light does not mean mute. This red light means that that I've changed the color to red. If this is red, if this color here is red, that's muted. This isn't muted here, mate. So no, we are sweet. You're just probably gonna have to refresh the stream if you've got me muted right now. But 72% for the Dragons at 16 from 22 on the completion rate is... so, Roger, I'm going to time you out, bro. It's getting a little bit old here, man. Your whole focus is on that, bro. So, like, just come back and just get into the conversation like a normal person. Like, every single comment right now is about the Titans. It's not a game about the Titans. We're not talking about the Titans here, man. So, like, I get that you're having banter and you're trying to sledge and whatnot, but I just don't give a fuck right now. So, just enough with the every single comment being, like, trying to get a reaction. Here's your reaction, man. But next time, we'll do it for longer. So, just chill out, man. Just chill out and enjoy the game, enjoy the chat, and watch this game that we're watching on right now. But again, 72% for the Dragons with 16 from 22. It's just unfortunately not good enough. Whilst the Warriors, they're at 77% for 17 from 22. It's also unfortunately not that good enough. It's not at the 80% themselves. But again, the wet weather conditions, you do typically try to bring it down to the 75%. So that means the Warriors are doing okay. They're doing fine. They're hitting the 75%. The Dragons still aren't doing that if you even take it down to that metric. So right now, both teams aren't doing the 80%. At least one of them's doing the 75% though. So now we move into the runs. 90 runs here for the Dragons for 801 run meters. They are 99 meters behind the 10 meters in average per run that you are looking for. I just want to make sure that I'm still going here. But they're 99 meters behind the 10 meters in average per run you're looking for. Whilst the Warriors, they're at 88 runs for 862 run meters. So they are 18 meters behind the 10 meters in average per run that you're looking for. But the issue here is that the Warriors have had 2 less runs than the Dragons, and yet they've got 61 more meters than the Dragons. So if you give those extra 2 runs, they're probably going to be about the 882. So they're essentially 80 meters in front of where the Dragons are. The Warriors are winning this game run meters wise pretty cleanly. However, on the post-contact meters, the Dragons are 281 with 90 runs, whilst the Warriors are 269 with 88 runs. So if you give those extra 2 runs, it's going to be equal, but you're probably not saying that the Warriors are getting 11 plus. You're probably more so saying it's between 5 and 10. So it's either slightly behind or it's exactly equal. So the post-contact meters is at least being matched by the Dragons, just not the run meters in general. Now you look at the line breaks, 4-1 here to the Warriors. They're finding those breaks quite easily. 4 line breaks and a half is really solid. But the tackle breaks, 16 tackle breaks to the Dragons, 14 to the Warriors. So the Dragons are actually making their tackles for the most part. And both these teams are. The average is 15 to 17 on the missed tackle. We'll get to the missed tackles in a second. Now it's 15 tackle breaks to the Dragons, 14 to the Warriors. They've actually removed a tackle break. But the point is that this is actually pretty good for both these sides here in a lot of ways. But the average set distance, 25 meters and below is pathetic. Turn the stream off. 25 to 30 is disgusting. 30 to 35 is underwhelming. 35 to 40 is hitting the marker. 40 to 45 is great. 45 to 50 is fantastic. And 50 plus is essentially perfect. The Dragons are at 36.41. So they're into the hitting the marker category. It's nothing spectacular, but they're just doing and moving and grooving at their regular rate. Whilst the Warriors, they're also doing the same thing at 39.2. They're about 3 meters above where the Dragons are at. They're getting close to the great category, but they're still in that just doing the job marker of 39.2. You go to the average play the ball speed. This is pretty normal for a wet weather conditions game. So 3.19 and below is extremely fast. 3.2 to 3.39 is fast. 3.4 to 3.59 is average. 3.6 to 3.79 is slow, and 3.8 and above is extremely slow. If you really want to be pedantic in a wet weather game like this, probably push those one marker back. So like extremely fast would be 3.2, anything below 3.39, 3.4 to 3.59 would be fast, all that kind of stuff for these kind of conditions.
but I'm not going to do that for the sole purpose right now, because on the sole purpose of it, it is an average speed here of 3.51 seconds for the Dragons and 3.5 seconds here for the Warriors. So yeah, they're both just competing at an average play the ball speed on a regularity. But again, if you want to push those markers back one, you can, which would mean this is fast play the ball from both these teams for the conditions. But then we go to the offloads here. It's 4 both sides, so just a normal amount. You go to the forced dropouts, 1-0 Dragons, kick defusal 67% for the Dragons, 20% here for the Warriors. And then you go to the effective tackle percentage, 89.77% here for the Dragons. 85 below is awful, 85 to 88 is underwhelming, 88 to 90 is hitting the marker, and 90 and above is essentially perfect. The Dragons are at 89.77, so they're really close to perfect in regards to their individual metric of an effective tackle percentage. This is not a team collective. This is an individual metric, but 89.77 is pretty damn well good. 193 tackles made is above the typical 160 to 180. By 13 tackles. The missed tackles average is 15 to 17. They're at 14, so they're below the average. And the ineffective tackles average is 5 to 7. They're at 8. They're one above the average. So 22 bad tackles with an extra 13 tackles made on the typical 160 to 180. 22 bad tackles and a half is actually pretty good with the amount of tackles they've made. But for the Warriors, 90.37%. So very good there. They're into the perfect category. 197 tackles made is above the typical 160 to 180 by 17. So about 4 more tackles than what the Dragons have had. The missed tackles is at 16. So they're on the upper end of the average of 14 to 17. No, they're in the middle actually at 16, and the ineffective tackles is 5. So on the low end are the average at 5 to 7. So that's 21 bad tackles compared to the Dragons at 22 bad tackles. However, the 197 tackles made for the Warriors is 4 above the Dragons. They've got 2 more missed tackles, but 3 less ineffective tackles, which is what slightly separates them in regards to that effective tackle percentage. But they're both competing at a very similar rate here, extremely similar rate. But then we go to the negative play. And this is what's going to happen in wet weather footy. But 3 and below is really good. 4 to 6 is average, and 7 above is awful. Both teams are at 7. That's in the awful category. If you want to push it slightly back, you could probably say 4 and below is really good in wet weather. 5 to 7 is average, and 8 and above is awful for wet weather. But 7 errors is just not great, is it? For both these teams. So both teams need to limit those errors. You go to the penalties conceded. It's 3-2 in regards to the Dragons. Ruck infringements is 5-4 in regards to the Dragons, and on reports is 1-0. To the Warriors. So overall, these stats aren't as much of a blowout as you would expect. The Warriors are dominating the run maze department, but the post contact is close. They're dominating the line breaks, but the tackle breaks are close. The average set distance is in the same category and close. The play the ball speed is quite close. The offloads are the same. The defense is very, very close here. The errors are the same. Penalties are essentially the same. Ruck infringements are pretty much the same. These stats here at halftime suggest it's a pretty close game. But again, as I did in my preview before this game started, I always say the Dragons keep in games until the 60th minute, and then they look awful from the 60th minute onwards. So Dragons fans, you're not actually technically out of this game right now, and Warriors fans, you're not home and hosed. But if we're looking at what the Dragons have done this season, you'll still win this 13 plus here, Warriors, and you could still hit 40. You could still hit 40 from this point onwards, because Dragons fall off a cliff in second halves, and not just second halves, but more so the 55, 60 minutes onwards. It is just a shit fest. It really does turn into an absolute shit fest. So they've knocked the ball on 7 times already, so have the Warriors, but the Warriors do have more of an 80-minute game in them than obviously the Dragons do. So I'm going to back in, despite the stats suggesting that this should be a 1-12 game and a close game, I'm going to back in the Warriors to go on with this. And then I did say my final score prediction pre-game was 30 or 40 points to 10, because I said that the Panthers gave up 6 points last week. You can't really guarantee the Warriors overall. So even though they're the second best defensive team, I'll give the Dragons 10 points. And then the Warriors, they just need to hit 30 points here today, and they're the best attacking team in the competition this year. So I'm backing them in for 30. I could still see them get 40. I might see one more try here for the Dragons, but overall, I'm still pretty happy with my pre-game prediction of 40 to 10. I'm still pretty happy with that prediction, knowing what's probably going to come in the second half. Aspect says another gutless half by the Dragons. I think that's harsh, mate. I think it's harsh. Lau says up the draws. Wildsol says Blocker saying Lakasima is diabolical. Or how does he say it? Am I pronouncing it correctly? Is it not just Lakasima? Breton says I'm having dinner now. Take over, Olivia. Coffee time at 6 p.m. Well, Olivia, the more you travel around the world, the more you'll realize that, like Italians, they'll have coffee at 2 a.m. They'll have coffee at like 1 a.m. kind of deal. They will literally go out to a coffee shop. Here in Vietnam, when I'm coming home from like having a night out and having some drinks at Bouy Vien here in Ho Chi Minh, like there's a coffee shop Like that's a sit down and really nice place just outside. And I'll be walking back at like 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. kind of deal. And the coffee shop will be open pumping. Like there are so many people there. It's like packed out at like 1 or 2 in the morning. And people aren't drinking. They're not drinking alcohol. They're having coffee. They're having tea. They're just enjoying their time. It's a real good vibe and experience kind of deal. The more you travel around the world, the more you'll realize that Australia is very individual in regards to this. I have an Italian friend that I met in Udaipur in India, and he was just astounded. Like he was astounded that Australia, we like close up most of our things at like 10 p.m. kind of deal. Like pretty much everything is closed except for going out in the nightlife. Everything's pretty much closed. Everywhere else in the world, most places in the world, most things stay open. It's just that Australia has a different work-life balance where we believe work hard, play hard kind of deal, where you work hard from 9 to 5 kind of deal, and then you just enjoy yourself afterwards. But it's not like you're not forcing people to work the entirety of the night. Whilst other countries, they stay open pretty much all night. Olivia says, I went and saw that Sheep Detective movie. I didn't bawl my eyes out like other people, but I did have a small tear at the end and like happy tears. What are we talking about? I recommend if you feel like a feel-good movie. Tiger Hood says, Warriors last 20 is one of the best in the NRL. Is that true? I don't know if that's true. Is that true? I think you might be just talking about that for the sake of it. Do you have the stats to back that up? I feel like you're a Warriors fan and that's just you trying to say that. So they scored 2 tries to 0 against the Roosters in round 1 in the final 20. Against the Raiders, they did score 4 tries to 0, but again, this is the first 2 rounds here against 2 teams that do not start season off well. Against the Knights, they scored 1-1, so it was equal in the second half. Against the Tigers, it was... you lost the second half 1-3. You had 1 try to their 3 in the second half. So I think that you're just saying this for the sake of it. Against the Sharks, you scored 1, they scored 2. So you lost the second half in... No, it was actually 2-2, sorry. So it was the same in the second half. Against the Storm... Well, the Storm were just awful. Yeah, you won that second half 3-0. And then against the Titans, you got pumped in the second half. Yeah, you scored 1 try and the Titans scored 4. So that's just not true, is it? And then against the Dolphins, it was 1-0 Warriors in the second half. Against the Eels, that's the Eels though. They still scored 2. You scored 3, so 3-2, quite even though, but still Warriors favour. And against the Broncos last week, this is obviously going to be... well, to be fair, it was really close. It was still 3-2 Warriors. So, no, you're incorrect, man. They're not a bad team in the second half by any stretch of the Titans game. But no, you're just saying that for the sake of it. The stats don't back you up in regards to that. All right, well, the second half is about to start here. The second half is about to get going. The Warriors are walking out onto the field. Chalky says other countries have people. There's no one in Australia comparatively. I agree. I'm just explaining the point that everywhere else stays open. It's really great here being in Vietnam. Like if I feel like a snack at 3 a.m, like it's very easy to get whatever I want, whatever. It's pouring down rain in Kogarah right now, mind you. Pouring down rain. A Tiger Hood says I'm talking about the last 5 weeks. No, you're not. No, you're not, because the last 5 weeks prove against your point more so. If you were going to talk about it, you'd talk about the first 2 rounds, but the last 5 weeks don't prove your point. The last 5 weeks actually prove less of a point for your argument than the previous. So no, you're just saying it for the sake of it, Tiger Hood. It's okay. Like if you're a Warriors fan, you're saying this because you want it to be true. That's fine, and I completely understand that you want it to be true, but it's not necessarily the truth at all. You're just saying it for the sake of it because you're a Warriors fan, but the stats don't unfortunately back you up in that regards. Again, though, the Dragons are the worst second half team in this competition, and then you'd obviously have a team like a Titans. You'd also have a team like Parramatta. And funnily enough, Titans, who are one of the worst second half teams in the competition, they slapped the Warriors in the last 5 weeks in the second half, but they got slapped in the first half, right? So no, it's not true. Check the defensive stats. Hey, Tiger Hood, again, bro, it's okay to be wrong. We've just gone through the stats. We've just gone through the tries scored in the second half, and it is not in your favour in regards to that. Why are you arguing a point when we just read through it publicly on this chat? It's okay that you're a Warriors fan. You want that to be the case. But you're not also providing anything in this chat. You're just saying this, and you're not explaining anything. We've actually just gone back through these last games, and it's proving against what you're saying. Why are you trying to create a narrative from something that we just publicly showed that is incorrect? I don't understand. Why can't you just admit that you were incorrect? It's okay. It's fine. Like, it is quite literally fine. Anyway, second half started here, and the Warriors are going to bring this ball to the 15 on first tackle. Hit that thumbs up button, subscribe. I really just like this about people, how they just can't, when we've just gone through it, they can't just admit that what we've just shown is not a negative towards the team. It's not a negative towards over what you're trying to say, but it's just proving that that is not a correct statement. There's a penalty here for the Warriors. No, it's a knock on from the Warriors at the 35. It's just not correct. Why do you feel like it's hurting your ego that you can't just say, no, the Warriors are not necessarily the best second half team in the competition because the stats actually show otherwise? I don't get it. But anyway, we're going to move on from this. And we're going to go back to this game where the Warriors have knocked the ball on here. Best second half team in the comp has knocked the ball on here in the first 30 seconds. But anyway, Dragons ball here at 35. Again, Warriors win this game. Warriors win this game 13 plus. It's just not true in regards to what you're saying. As Aspie says, can we get your try scorers for the Titans game? I'd need to go through the team list, really. But for Titans, let's back in a little bit Zane Harrow. Let's back in a little bit Zane Harrow for his first try. Let's do it. Let's back him in. And let's back in Bowie to not knock the ball on and score. I'm going to go with Zane Harrow and Bowie. So 1 second Dragons. It's going to hit the grass. But they're going to bring this ball to the 25 on third tackle. For Manly, I don't mind a little bit of Luke Brooks. He's been pretty good under Kieran Foran. And then the forwards, I'd probably lean towards like a Taniela Paseka. It's just so against the grain, but I could definitely see that happening. Oh my God. Tiger Hood, bro, you're not worth my time, bro. Like, you're not providing quite literally anything. All you're doing is talking for the sake of talking. We've gone through the, simple basic stats of it, but at the end of the day, so you're going into individual specific stats that you've provided absolutely nothing of. It's just embarrassing at this point. You're providing absolutely fuck all in this chat. All you're saying straight up is that this team is the best second half team in the comp, and that's it. You've provided absolutely nothing to back that point up. We've gone through the basic stats of a second half and seen the tries, which is the whole purpose of what a second half is. It's proven you wrong, and yet you're still going on about the same thing. I'm getting over it, to be fair. I'll straight up just time you out. I can't be bothered. If you're not going to provide the stats and you're not going to prove it wrong, then please don't bother. If you're not going to provide anything to show what you're talking about, we'll just remove you. Because at the moment, you're not benefiting any point of your conversation besides just creating an argument out of something that you've just been proven wrong in regards to. So feel free to go through every single individual statistic and prove it to us, because right now you've proven absolutely nothing. Second tackle here at the 10. It is now on you. It is on you to prove what we've said wrong. It is not on us to prove anything wrong, because we've gone through the basic stats of it all. So come on, hero. You are a hero of this chat right now. You are the hero of the world. Please provide us your undeniable knowledge in regards to why what we said was incorrect. So the Dragons are now at the 10. Please, feel free. I'm looking forward to all the statistics that prove this, despite the fact that we've gone through it and it's shown otherwise in regards to the tries, which is a pretty key metric of the game, mind you. Pretty key metric. Third tackle now at the 8. Third tackle now at the 8. Jacob says always have to be that person. Again, I'd just like him to actually tell us something. Like, give us actually some knowledge. Fourth tackle now for the Dragons at the 13. Provide us the knowledge, hero. Provide us. Batman. Superman of the chat. Provide us the knowledge. Fifth tackle at the 5. I can't believe I've had to ask this so many times. I've asked this the last 10 minutes straight. The Dragons here at the 10, they go to the left-hand side, and that's fit tackle, and they lose the ball, and the Warriors nearly get away here. They'll be taking it out of the 10. And again, I'm still taking the Warriors 13 plus here. It's amazing. James has called the game, dude. We'll do what we want here, champion. Second tackle here for the Warriors, and they're going to be at the 20. Alternating says, Woods, you're a clown. No stats, just barking for no reason. It's just like the Warriors are an amazing team. They should win this game 13 plus, but it's amazing that people don't actually say they don't actually provide the stats to back up their opinion. That's all I'm asking for. Third tackle here at the 35. So Wade Egan now is going to go to the right-hand side of Fisher Harris, and he'll bring this ball to the 45 on 4 tackle. To kill. 4 tackle. They go to the left-hand side now, and Chanel Harris DeVito will be taken down to the 40 on 5th tackle. Laurie says, big Mo with a try to celebrate the milestone. Would love Mo to score. But anyway, they kick this ball down to the 10. And Tyrell Sloan will be taken down to the 10 on first tackle. Bonza says, I'm handout with state. I was born in New Zealand country. I don't know what you just said. Please, retracted message. Yeah, do that again. Second tackle of the Dragons at the 13. I don't have time for stupidity today, Olivia says. T-Ricky says, I agree, Blaze. Where is the bag of proof? That's all I'm asking for. If I'm proven wrong, I'm proven wrong. I'm happy to be proven wrong. But by the basic stats, we're not wrong until proven otherwise. Old mate's not proving anything in regards to that. And it's going to be good luck in regards to getting all the 17 teams as well to back up the statistic. Fit tackle here at the 45 because we will double check it. So don't just make it up for the sake of it. The Dragons now are going to get this ball offloaded here at the 40. It's fit tackle. They throw the ball forward. Wow. Yep, there's a forward pass. Why are the Dragons not kicking the ball here today? The Dragons are not kicking the ball here today, and the Warriors are going to get the ball here at the 35 on their own side of the field because of a forward pass from Daniel Atkinson on fit tackle. No, not from Daniel Atkinson. It is going to be from Daniel Atkinson, actually. Yeah. They're just trying to force the issue, really. I will go and get my alpaca. And the difference between a llama and alpaca. Bonza says, I'm a handout with state. I was born in not country. Okay, let's do it again, Bonza. Let's do it again. So, Warriors here at the 40. And they're going to go to the right-hand side. Wade Egan gives it off to Jacob Laban, and Jacob Laban's going to be at the 50 on second tackle. 34 minutes to go here in the game. I feel like if the Warriors score next, they just go on with this, and they go on with it well, man. Third tackle here at the 40. Hope it says Warriors fan here, bro. Yeah, that was a bit, yeah. Get around here, up the wires. So they go to the left, and it's going to be James Fisher-Harris. 6 again for the Warriors. 28 minutes away from the line, first tackle. Going to roll this ball back here to Wade Egan, then off to, I think it was Vaimalga. Jacob Laban now. He's going to be at the 15 on the Dragons side of the field. Good chance here for the Warriors. They go to the left. Fisher-Harris. Oh, so close. He's 5 meters out from the line. They go to the left-hand side to Muddy Martin. Awful defense from the Dragons. Straight over the wires. Awful defense from the Dragons. Straight over the wires. 18 points to 6 with a kick to come. Tiger Hood with the $2 donation says, you were right. My ego got to me, peace. You're all good, man. You're all good. The thing is, the reason why so it's try time with the Warriors, 18-6 with the kick to come here. Tamani Martin right on through. Bad defense, Dragons. Fine stuff from the Warriors, but if you watch this try, Gutho missing that tackle's bad. Then I don't know what the number 16 for the Dragons was doing. Tamani Martin walked over. The issue, Tiger Hood, is that it's not a negative. Again, it's not having a crack necessarily at you. It's having a crack at you for not providing the statistics. So it's like, it's okay if you say something that goes against what I'm saying, because I'm not always going to be right. The reason why I got so frustrated is because you were just repeating the same comment without actually providing us why we were incorrect. So it's all sweet, man. If we didn't like you, we would have hidden you. But I understand the intention is different. And again, you're a Warriors fan. It was just about the fact that you weren't actually helping us to understand what you were saying. So anyway, it's 18 points to 6 to the Warriors with a kick to come here. But thank you for the dono. And we need $4 million. Olivia, we're still waiting for your $4 million donation after the fact that you won $40 million on the lotto last night. Or the other night. Easy game of the Wild. Jacob says, it should be. It should be from here too. Dragons are not great. And apparently the Warriors are the best second half team in the competition. So Chanel Harris has missed 2 of his 3 kicks so far. And he will make this one. So it will be 20 points to 6. I just can't see the Dragons coming back from 14 points behind. I just can't. Kirani Footy Sigma. Minty says, that's one, boys. Here we go, boys. 13 plus. It should just simply be. It should just simply be. Jacob says, Dragons should just quit. No, they shouldn't. They just need to fix their second halves. They need to fix their last 20. Jeremy says, King Gutho was bald. How the hell did he grow that, that main back? He might have gone to Turkey. Kane says, I love the commentary. Makes my Saturday nights. Appreciate you, Kane. There's one thing that these streams will always have, and that's passion for the game, regardless of who's playing. That isn't even as passionate as you'll see in the next game. The next game is where you'll see the crazy passion. First tackle now with the Warriors, and they're going to be at the 15 on their own side of the field. Livy says, well, I didn't because no one won Division 1, but I have a ticket in the next one which rolled over to 60 million, so you have to wait now. So brilliant. We'll get a $6 million donation next time. Unbelievable stuff. The thing is, Olivia, when you win, don't tell anybody. The worst thing you can do when you win the lotto is to tell everybody. Don't tell everyone. Don't tell anybody. Whoa, they're going to call a knock on here. I think the Warriors are going to challenge this. The Warriors are going to challenge this. It is a knock on from the Warriors at 25. He wanted to challenge it immediately too. Future Immortal doing future immortal things. Daniel says, I live in Auckland. Warriors fans make it difficult. The thing is, when I went to New Zealand, I had an amazing time, dude. Warriors fans were awesome. Warriors fans in Australia can get pretty spicy at games, but the ones in Auckland, again, we won 27-24 on Anzac Day there. It was awesome. No one was a knob. Well, you could go to a lot of away games in Australia, and I'm telling you, there's a lot of knobs at other teams. Oh, this is going to be an unsuccessful challenge here. They're going to say that the Warriors player grabs Atkinson and brings him back in, which is why Atkinson's hit the ball out. Well, I would argue saying that the hand has just hit the ball out there separately, but okay, he was grabbing him, so the fact that he was holding him is what they're saying is knocked the ball out here, but I disagree. Like, sure, he was holding him, so cool. You can use this as an excuse to hit the on-field ref with the right call, but the hand has nothing to do with the fact that he grabbed him in. And he said, I think it's time for Guther to retire. The drop-off has been sad to see, given what he has done for the game. Well, you got Drinkwater coming in next year. So where does Gutho go? I think it probably is coming sooner rather than later. So first tackle with the Dragons. They're going to be 20 minutes out here from the line after the unsuccessful challenge from the Warriors. 30 minutes to go of the game here, folks. Hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you are new around here. Hamish Stewart Ryan Couchman, with the ball at the 15 on second tackle. And now it's going to be taken down here at the 5 on Daniel Atkinson, third tackle. They roll it back here to Damien Cook. Cook now to Ryan Couchman. Here we go. Carl Flanagan steps from the inside. He'll be 5 meters out, and he will knock the ball on. Warriors ball at the 10. 0 tackle. I don't know why I would even grab him, Mitchell. King will go into the centers. Steve Upper says, can we just forfeit the rest of this season and come back next year, please? I'm assuming this is the Dragons. Listen, I'll be honest with you, mate. This is all banter and whatnot, but you're kind of forfeiting every game anyway, so you're kind of getting what you like as we currently speak. The Warriors will go to the left. I'm so sorry to say that, but I've been where you are. Third tackle here at the 30. Our longest streak was 0-7 to start the season before we did go over to New Zealand in 2024 and win on Anzac Day. That was our longest streak, so I have an idea about where you've been. But again, our team's finished last multiple times. The Dragons have never finished last, I don't think, in their history. Is that true? I think it's true. I don't think the St George Illawarra Dragons have ever finished last. Jacob says the Dragons need to do better, man. They do, but we say this every single week. First tackle, and this is about to get to the period of the game where they will fall off even more of a cliff. Tyrell Sloan will be taken down to the 10. I'd like to be proven wrong, but this is usually where the old Dragons fall off a cliff at this point. Well, getting to this point of the game. Justin Button says, brother, are you worried about the scorelines of the likes of these new incoming franchises? There have been some ugly scorelines and it could get bad for new teams. Yes, but I also think that I'm not going to say that expansion is because a lack of quality is what's creating it. I think that lack of accountability on organizations and teams to be able to develop and create the correct teams and get everything right in the organization on the field and all that type of stuff. Thrown at the back for people to blame the lacking amount of quality and they're more so looking at the quality rather than the actual organizations putting together the right kind of teams, because there are teams and organizations who choose players that never looked like they were going to fit. They never really looked that amazing, to be fair. Loffy will get this ball to the 45, but they go all in on them, and I think that by saying that it's just because there's not enough quality for the game to expand is taking away the accountability from organizations. So the Warriors, they're at the 45 on the Dragons side of the field, and Aaron Clark gets the ball to the 35 at fit tackle. Gary says, you can't forfeit the season. Now's the time to blood some youngsters and give some experience in the NRL. It can only make them better. They tried that with Kate Reid. Now he's not there. Is he injured or is he just dropped? That's going to be a knock-on from the Warriors. So the Dragons will get this ball here at the 10. Changeover. Dragons management should be sacked. Stephen, absolutely agree with you, man. The Dragons organization is the real critical one. People, as fans, on a general consensus level, will always look towards coach or to the star players and whatnot. But that's because they don't know anything about the organization and how it actually operates. But the Dragons organization is an absolute shambles. And I'm telling you that Perth Bears will be the same. The Tigers organisation is a shambles. You know why? Because they're all mergers. Mergers, you have too many cooks in the kitchen that want to be the leadership because they're the leaders of their own brands, their own side of the merger. And it just doesn't work out. There's a knock on there from the Dragons. The Warriors will get the ball here at the 35. 0 tackle. at the Dragons side of the field. It doesn't work out because too many people think they know everything, and then because everyone knows everything, everyone knows nothing, because you have to find the middle ground, and then by finding the middle ground between two completely opposite agendas and narratives, you are going to go down the incorrect way. So mergers are so difficult to work out long term, and you're already seeing Perth Bears, they're already fighting with each other. You're already seeing the Perth side of things fighting with the North Sydney side of things, because North Sydney, with their ego, they think that because they've been in rugby league before, that they should have the final say, whilst Perth shouldn't be having to deal with that. I feel so sorry for Perth at the end of the day that they're merging, because I'm telling you, it's going to be a nightmare. And you are the middle child. It's going to be a nightmare to deal with. To Marty Martin, right hand side, quick passing. Dallin Watens to Lesniak, 2E. Oh, wow, that's a good. Oh, he scored. No, he has scored. He has scored there. Dallin Watens to Lesniak will go over. He's gone short, but it's kind of momentum has pulled that ball over the line. I don't think this is a double movement here. They're going to go to the bunker, but I'm pretty certain this is a try. Oh, so Cade Reedy is injured. Kiwi and Oz, thank you for letting me know. 2 to 3 months. They're saying he loses possession between. I don't know if he does. I think this is a try. So he goes down short, obviously. We know that. It's short there. Oh, but he is just short there, and then it rolls. I don't know. I think this is a no try. I think this is a good call from Adam G. I don't know if he's lost possession, but then he'll roll it, which I guess you could class. Yeah, he does probably lose possession there. It's the right call. Good call, Adam G. It's close. I don't think he touches the line. Bro, he definitely touches the line, but it's just about the fact that they're saying that he loses possession beforehand, and also, are you allowed to roll it in that situation? Damien says, what if Metcalf played for the Dragons tonight? Who'd win? The Warriors would still win this game. Again, Metcalf is not an amazing attacking halfback. The Warriors were 10-11 for attack under Luke Metcalf last year when they were in the top 4. It was the Warriors' defense that was the top 4. Lou says also, bro doesn't know how he was timed out by me and blamed it on the power. That's how smart you are. Who got timed out? Oh, Quiz Brown got timed out, did he? Oh, but that was by Brenton. What's happening? Oh. So, first tackle now with the Dragons, and they're going to be at the 20 on their own side of the field. Isn't it meant to get over the white line? No, it's just meant to touch the white line, bro. It did touch the white line. Peter says, tits up, how are we looking for later on? Hey, look, Manly, no Ola Kawatu, no Tolotau Koala. Hopefully that reduces a bit of speed out of their game, and hopefully the Titans can fire up. We've got no Tino and no Jojo, but hopefully we can turn up there. We've got a good record at Brookie. We've won 50% of our games there. So that's pretty good considering the history of our club. 4th tackle here at the 38. I think there's a bit of value in the Titans tonight, but I also am not ultimately confident, you know. Panthers will beat them next week, trust. Hi, Elijah. You asked me if the Panthers even have a chance of beating the Warriors next week. I remember your comment from half an hour ago. I remember your comment saying, can the Panthers beat the Warriors next week? There's a stripping penalty. The Dragons will get the penalty, and Tyrell Sloan gets a quick tap, and he's away here at the 45 at the 40. Dragons ball. First tackle at the 45. Surely they play Cooper Bye for bigger minutes now with no Tino. You'd hope so. 6 again here for the Dragons. A little bit of push and shove between Tyrell Sloan and Jackson Ford. And Luchan Leilua on the field. He'll be taken down to the 35. I have no idea why Dragons are not playing Luchan Leilua as a starter, by the way. Steve Hopper says, there won't be a St George Illawarra much longer. Everything is slowly being transitioned to Wollongong. A rename is only a matter of time, then no NRL for me. Is that true? I don't know enough about the in-depth. Is that true? They're trying to remove like the Dragons side of things out of it, and they're moving everything down to the Illawarra for Wollongong. Is that true? Other Dragons fans, I don't know if this is just an individual perspective or if this is a overall growing thought process. Second tackle at the 5. I do notice that more games are going down to the gong nowadays, though. I have noticed that. The Dragons here 6 again. It's second tackle. Now it's third tackle at the 2, but they got a 6 again on that set. Third tackle 2 minutes away from the line. Damien Cook to Kyle Flanagan, Daniel Atkinson, Tyrell Sloan, 15 out. Gutho, he'll be taken down at the 13 on 4 tackle. Let's see if they kick this ball on 5th, if they still have the ball at that point. Daniel Atkinson, that's Hamish Stewart. He'll be 8 metres away from the line, 5th tackle. Damien Cook, let's see a kick here. They actually do kick it, but it's played up on the Warriors. Jackson Ford, and that's going to be played again here. Warriors ball. Leck at the Regala Seaman. Unless they're going to say knock on here from the Warriors early doors. No, it's a penalty to the Dragons. Penalty to the Dragons here. Oh, so they're saying that Jackson Ford pushed I think Daniel Atkinson out of the way. So it's a penalty to the Dragons. As a novelty, it would be cool to hear what your top 17 maroon team, any player, any era would be. Not tonight, maybe before next week, Wednesday. Maybe earlier on Wednesday kind of deal. I can't do that in this right now. If they go out to the right-hand side to Kyle Flanagan, then off to Couchman. Toby Couchman. He'll be 7 metres away, second tackle. They get it out to Daniel Atkinson, then to Kyle Flanagan at the 15. Luciano Lua, quick passing. Val Holmes, knock on, and the Warriors are away. Jacob Laban at the 20, the 15, the 30. Oh, Dallin just ran a little bit in front of him, otherwise he would have been away. But the Warriors on the 40 on 0 tackle. And Tane Tuapiki, he's going to spread that ball all the way to the other side of the field to Lecker. He drops it, but it goes backwards. It's fine. Lofiana Campero has got a little bit of space here, but he'll bring this ball to the 50 on first tackle. Costa says, can the Broncos win over the Dragons? They still should, but I do think that's the Dragons' next best opportunity. Well, that's their next game, but I've said for a while now the Broncos were their next best opportunity with their situation right now. But again, the last time the Dragons actually won was against the Sharks. The Sharks are a scam team, so would I be completely shocked, horror, surprised if the Dragons found a way to scam or win against the Sharks? No, I would not be. I still tip the Sharks. I still tip the Sharks 13+, but I would not be ultimately surprised. That was the last win the Dragons had as an organisation last year in round 20 or 21 or something. After they beat the Raiders. 2 weeks in a row, they beat the Raiders and the Sharks. Haven't won since. Fifth tackle here for the Warriors. At the 15. Out the bag. Leka Hadasima catches it. Gets the offload away. Back to Chanel Harris-Avita. They kick this ball across. Tate Tuapiki coming through. Dragons knock it on. And they're going to have to drop it out. Luciano Lua playing fullback there. That's interesting. 22 minutes to go here. Is it full moon tonight or something? Brenton says. I think so, man. Damien says, hard. Why bring Panthers into it? Fudge the Panthers, to be honest. And he says, Val needs to be dropped. He's been terrible. Unfortunately, he has been. And people were talking about him still getting an origin spot. Nikhil says, long night to go here. We still got Titans Manly. That's when the real crazy stuff comes out. That's when the real craziness begins. Warriors drop it, but it goes backwards to Money Martin off to Tanner Sauer-Smith, and he'll bring it to the 35 on first tackle here. So Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, it took him a while, but he has been ruled out officially with a knee. He injured himself quite early, so I'm surprised it's only just become official now. Fisher Harris now will get this ball to the 30 on second tackle. No, I think the Dragons will win at some point, Scott. I just couldn't tell you when. Aaron Clark, he bring this ball to the 15 on third tackle. 20 minutes to go of the game here, folks. Hit that thumbs up button, subscribe. Titans Manly right after this. They go to the left-hand side. Jackson Ford, short ball to the line. 5 metres out. He's my last try scorer. Like, I don't bet, but I'm saying he's my last try scorer that I predicted in this game. I would love Jackson Ford to get over. And then I'd be having a great week in regards to try scorers. And I probably should bet, to be fair. That is going to be a strip for sure. How has that ball come out that way if it's not a strip? Well, they don't have a challenge. So they can't challenge it regardless. But how can that ball possibly come out like that if that's not a strip? I'd love to see this again. How does the ball come out like this if it's not a strip? I don't know how it's possible for the ball to come that far out like that if it's not a strip. But anyway, it's Dragons ball here at the 10. Yes, he only just coming back, Olivia. Yeah, he did. I'm taking the Dragons against the Sharks. I'm still taking the Sharks, but I'm just not shocked or surprised. So the Dragons will get this ball to the 15 on first tackle. Wow. Manly and the Gold Coast, we're 6-6 at Brookvale. I cannot believe it. We do not have a losing record at Brookie. That's actually crazy to think about. So the Dragons now on third tackle. They'll be at the 30. G must have had his eyes closed. Well, I just don't know how it's possible for the ball to pop out like that. It's so simple. Not that it really matters, but I just don't know how it's possible that happens. Anyway, Dragons fans, close your eyes because this is usually, great running from Luciano Lua. He offloads the ball, and the Warriors will get him down to the 35 on fifth tackle. This is usually the point of the game. The Dragons fall off an absolute cliff, so just be very aware of this next 20. And Loffy with a great grab. It's come out the back here. And Lekadasema gets his ball to 5 on first tackle. And he said, I don't understand how we went from a team that lost 9 games by 6 points or less and had a real crack last year to a team that gets blown out each week. The NRL as a brand and as a product right now is aligned with this. Second tackle here at the 10. So yes, we've seen 2 1-12 games so far this round. We usually only see 2 1-12 games across an 8-game round. So that should mean pretty much that the next 3 games, inclusive that's a penalty to the Warriors here at the 20. That should ultimately mean the next 3 games should be 13+. I actually am taking the Rabbits tomorrow against the Cows, despite the fact that they've got no Trell. If Titans win, it's probably just going to be 1-12 in it, but it just does align with the Manly 13 plus, despite the fact they've got no Olaquatu and Tolutau and still Tommy T is out. So hopefully, but like at the end of the day, the NRL as a product has made it almost impossible for games to be 1-12 on the most part. So it's a different game to what it is, still very different to what was happening last year too, mind you. It's just way too quick of a game nowadays to expect 1-12s. Costa says the Storm lost. Correct. What's your point? Second tackle here at the 33. Why are backup players always trying to offload, just take the ball and take the tackle? Agree. Out to the right to Tanner Smith, and he'll be at the 28 on third tackle. They go to the left-hand side to Aaron Clark, then at the back to Muddy Martin. He'll go out the back again. Harris DeVita, Lofiana Camperera into the corner. There's your double. Lovely Camperera. There's a try time for the Lofmeister, and it's 24-6 here with the kid to come. 24-6. Our Warriors. I told you, Dragons are about to fall off a cliff, and there we go. There is your second try. And it's 24 points to 6 Amundos. Try time for the Wires. Damien says, question, how is Jackson Ford not in Origin? He's leading Dally M's, isn't he? I don't know if he's still leading Dally. Well, it's gone behind closed doors now, hasn't it? Either way, though, was he still leading Dally M's before it went behind closed doors? But yeah, he should have been in Origin for sure. But no, way too easy there for the Wars. Good double pump there from Harris Avita to give that space to Alofiana Camperera. And then as soon as he got that space, you know he's scoring. Shuts down for the Wars. Because of all the 6 agains, the balls are always in play. If you have to make all those tackles, you'll pay for them at some point. Yeah, correct. Warriors did actually make more tackles than the Dragons in the first half, though. Cleary is winning 42nd. That does make sense, Nelso. I do think that Nathan Cleary, it's his time to win the Dally M this year. I think it just has to be the year. For people to put it in perspective, Nathan Cleary has still not won a Dally M. Steve Hoppett says, our season reminds me of the movie Major League. If the team does badly enough and attendance drops, the owner can move the team somewhere else. Conspiracy theory? So basically like the, not the Las Vegas, like Oakland Athletics. Great example. They're being moved to Las Vegas. Basically, the conspiracy surrounding the Dallas Mavericks. The Dallas Mavericks have had a significant conspiracy in regards to this. They want to put a team in Vegas. Everyone wants to move their team to Vegas because they know there's a lot of money there. Warriors, that's a bad kick. It will be staying 24-6. Tiger Hood with a $2 donation says, hit my double with a Loffy. Good stuff. Loffy. Calm prayer with a double either day. 24-6 with the kick missed, sorry. But yeah, a lot of teams trying to get to Vegas. Oakland have been able to link that up, and they'll be in. I guess they'll be the Vegas Athletics. Or I think they'll change the name from Athletics. It'll be a completely different name. I know they want to create the Las Vegas Aces in the NBA though. Nikhil says Cleary with no Dally M's is crazy considering what he's done. Yeah, it is. Eden says, if Warriors still had Walsh, do you think they'd win the premiership? Well, I think that'd be a huge benefit to them. That'd be a massive benefit. Short kickoff here from the Dragons. They knock it back. The Warriors will pick it up, and the Warriors are going to probably score here. Harris DeVita at the 25. Offloads it back onto the inside. Aaron Clark loses the ball. I just don't understand why Harris DeVita had to pass that ball there. Just take the play, bro. You've had a massive play. You've broken all the way to the 25, and I just don't know why you need to offload that ball to Aaron Clark in that situation. But either way, Dragons ball to 40 now. They want to add a WNBA team to the NBA. Wonder how that would go. No, they surely do not. They do not. It wouldn't surprise me. That's why I'm just like, I don't know if you're being serious or not. It wouldn't surprise me. Patricia says, now the Storm had lost. Do you believe now the coach will go somewhere else? Craig, no way. Dragons going to score here. Well, there's your 10 points. They scored in the corner. Christian Tuipulotu will score. It's 24-10. That came out of nowhere. That came out of absolutely nowhere just then. The Dragons have just randomly scored a try through Christian Tuipulotu. So it's 24-10 here with the kid to come from the sideline. There's your 10 points that I called. Out of nowhere, at the 40, Flanagan to Leilua, and then just a good pass to Val Holmes, who gets through the line and fakes the inside, goes outside the Tuipulotu, and he'll score in a corner. Damien says, who is the teams in next year's Vegas? Titans versus Eels and Storm versus the Tigers. Storm Tigers and Titans Eels. Storm Tigers could be a good game. Titans Eels, well, the Titans beat them by 50 a couple of weeks back. Well, there's your try for Christian Tuipulotu. All wingers have gotten over tonight. Yeah, they have. Vegas Aces is the WNBA. Yeah, no, Vegas have an WNBA team. Peter S says, who outside the 8 do you think can make it? From here, outside the 8. To be fair, if he gets this kick, it's only a 12-point game with 14 minutes to go. It's still technically doable. Not that the Dragons are going to win this game. Outside of the 8, wait for the Broncos to get their players back. It depends on how long the Tigers players are all out. I really don't have any faith in the Raiders, Bulldogs, Eels, or definitely not Storm. Val Holmes, he will get the kick. There's 24-12, so it is only a 12-point game here. And you want to bet on the 13 plus, you are shitting bricks right now. Gary says, why has there been some horrible statements about the teams in Vegas? What do you mean? What horrible statements? What are you talking about? Blaze, you deserve some credit. Usually I watch the game along with your commentary, but today I'm just listening to your commentary, but it feels like I ain't missing nothing. Well, it's kind of just expected how this game was going to go with these conditions as well. It's a pretty easy game to kind of pop in and pop out of in a lot of ways. But that try just came out of absolutely nowhere from the Dragons. Appreciate you streaming for us that don't have Sky Sports. Thanks, bro. Yeah, appreciate you, Bonzo. We're always here to have a bit of a laugh and get into the analytics of it all. And these streams are a lot more chill and easy and enjoyable for me to do because when the Titans aren't playing, I can just sit back and enjoy from a neutral perspective. But I know what I have to go into the next game. I know that the next 80 minutes of my life is going to be torture against Manly unless we win, and then it'll be an amazing stream. It'll be great fun. Grab a beer, enjoy a beer. Oh my gosh, it'll be a great time to be alive. But if we don't win and we struggle, might headbutt a brick wall. You never know. I know what the next 80 minutes of my life is probably going to be looking like there, sir. So fifth tackle for the Dragons, and Daniel Atkinson puts that ball up at the 50. And they'll be taking down here at the 15. Peter S says, I think Manly, the Sharks, etc. are better than the Tigers and Broncos. Spectacular opinion there, man. Sharks are 8th and Manly are 5th, whilst the Tigers are 10th and the Broncos are 11th. Spectacular stuff. Second tackle here for the Warriors at the 30. That was real spectacular. Both those teams that you think are better are above the teams that you think aren't better. Thank you, Peter. That was incredible. Lofton and Canberra with a good run here to the 48 or so on fourth tackle. Don't hurt nobody next stream, brother. I hurt myself. Fisher Harris, I guess, is ball to the 40 on the Dragon side of the field. Fifth tackle. And they'll put that ball up into the air. The chase through. Dragons get whomped by Jackson Ford at the 5. Dragons only need 2 more converted tries to get to a possible extra time. I appreciate the intentions from the Dragons. Yeah, the intention's always there, mate. Second tackle here at the 10. Ladder doesn't lie. Ladder doesn't lie, Gary. Ladder does not lie. Yeah, we got a big old great comment. Laurie says, lucky no bottom team this year gets demoted to the Super League. Getting demoted to the Super League, that's going to be a lot of long-term away journeys. 4 tackle here. Enjoy playing in France. And your home game, if you're based in Kogarah, your home games in Kogarah or Wollongong, and your away games in France and north of England, good luck. That's going to go for... Oh, it's going to hit the upper... It's going to hit the crossbar. We've seen that crossbar get hit a couple of times here this round already. Literally, we saw it hit twice in one play for a try the other night. You've mentioned Jackson Ford's name a lot tonight. He is everywhere. No, Jackson Ford's been brilliant today. He's been great. Hasn't scored the try, but you would have heard me name Jackson Ford a lot before earlier on because I called him for a try too. I thought he'd be good for a try tonight, but not so far. Hasn't been able to do too much on the attack, but defensively he's been everywhere for sure. Third tackle down for the Warriors at the 25. 10 minutes to go. Hero of the game, folks. Hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you are new around here. 10 minutes to go. We've got Titans Manly right after this. And Sam Healy, fifth tackle at the 45. The crossbar challenge round. Yeah, well, the Dragons have locked that up. Who was the team that got it? Was it the Dolphins? I think it was the Raiders. Yeah, Corey Horsburgh scored it. So it was the Raiders who hit the crossbar twice, and it bounced perfectly for Corey Horsburgh to score. Aloya Elikana says, let's go to Warriors. Dragons now at the 25. Technically, there's still a chance here for the Dragons. It's not happening, but technically there is. The Dragons winning is a myth. It definitely is a myth right now. Third tackle here at the 30. Horsburgh. The old bruh. The Horsburgh. Dragons at the 30. And Luchan Leilua, he will get taken down to the 33. Fourth tackle. When will St George celebrate a win? I would have absolutely no idea when to tell you. They will at some point, but I do not have any clue of when to tell you, sir. Damien Cook to Val Holmes. Their best chance is probably in the next 2 weeks against a Broncos team that's very beatable and a Sharks team that is absolutely a scam team. The Dragons will put that ball up, basic kick up in the air for an easy one for Tane Tuapiki. And Tane Tuapiki is going to bring this ball to the 20, the 25, to the 30. Good run. And Damien Cook is struggling here. God bless him. He's struggling to walk at the moment. You don't like to see that. Dalton Martinez will be at the 35. Damien Cook injured. At least with the Warriors, they haven't had too many injuries since that early onslaught in the early part of the game. Sam Healy, little scoot, gets this ball to the 50, to the 45, nearly breaks through. Will be 4 tackled now. And he says, next week, I hope. I'm sick of seeing my team lose. I know the feeling. I know the feeling. 5th tackle here at the 33. Jackson Ford rolls it back to Sam Healy. And up it goes there. It's going to come down right at the 3. Tyrell Sloan grabs it. Good take under pressure. Nikhil says, are the Waz a proper good team this season? Retracted it and then said, Waz are a proper good team this season. Yeah, they are. This hasn't been unbelievable, but the conditions haven't helped it. And also the Warriors are starting to pick up a few injuries in their team. But at the end of the day, they're going to win this. They're going to be second on the table. Their points differential doesn't really get helped in regards to chasing down the Panthers. But at the end of the day, who really cares? Your points differential is still the second best in the competition, and you are in second position. So it's not too much of a worry compared to last year, where your points differential was like 12, and you're in the top 4. Intercept by Dallin Watene-Zelezniak, and there's his hat trick. 28 points to 12, and Dallin Watene-Zelezniak will get the intercept. He will score, and the Waz are going to get a good win here down in Sydney to keep their second spot. They were going to stay second regardless, but they are outright second now with this win, and nobody can get them. Right now, they are just 2 points above where the Roosters are. If Manly win, they'll be 4 points above them. If Manly lose, they'll be 6 points above them. Right now, you're doing a really good job in regards to locking in that top 4 spot. Terrible pass to Holmes, though. And 28-12 with a kick to come right in front of the post. There is always next week, Annie, and the week after and after. Well, Brenton, you are a Knights fan, so you know all about how difficult it is for Dragons fans and Annie right now. And I'm a Titans fan. I know how difficult it is for Annie and the Dragons fans right now. But right this very second, that was a hospital pass there. Oh, Val Holmes was trying to knock that away. Oh, like the pass was bad from Luciano, but also Val just knocked that straight to Dallin. Laurie says, yeah, Dragons win their first game. Glad not tonight. Jeez, Dragons are still 12 rounds in without a single win this season. That is wild, man. That is wild. Again, I remember how I felt when we were 7 games into the season without a win. 12 games now is crazy. We are halfway through the year. You got to remember there's 27 rounds in a season. Next week for the Dragons, who do they play? The Dragons next week. Oh, that's right, they play the Broncos away at Suncorp. If they don't win that, we've gone half the season and they wouldn't have had a win through half a season. Aspects, I'm telling you we go winless all year. I'm telling you don't. I'm telling you there will be a win. I promise you. I promise you, Dragons fans, you will get a win at some point. This was never going to be a win tonight, but I promise you will get a win. Ben says, also, I know this is going to come out of nowhere, but the Dragons always don't seem to score when their opposition team have a man down at the bin. And what's worse is that the opposition still score. Yeah, that is a really out of the nowhere random comment because there is no bin here in this game. Chickawana says, who do you blame with this many losses? The organisation? At the end of the day, it's their choices that have led up to this moment. Players aren't good enough. The coaches haven't been good enough. The organisation isn't good enough because they're always arguing. And it's a schmozzle. It's an absolute mess. I would say that the only people that deserve a win this season are the fans. It's not the organisation. It's not the club. The organisation, the Dragons, don't deserve shit this year. The fans who turn up to games, who's still there right now, who still watch the games, you deserve a win. But the organisation, you don't deserve shit right now. 4th tackle here for the Warriors at the 50. Tamati Martin after Jacob Laban. And he'll get this ball to the 40. It is Anthony Milford's fault too, Melso. Mark says, you going with your head or your heart for the Titans game? Look, at the end of the day, I'm going to tell you, on head-wise, they've still got... this might be a fourth try here for Dallin. I think this is going to be a dropout. Yep, it's going to be a dropout here from the Dragons to the Warriors. 5 minutes to go hit the game. Head-wise, you're still looking at Manly and saying they should still win that game. But again, statistics show that it's 6-6. Titans have an equal record at Brookvale across the history playing at Brookie. The Titans are without Tino and Jojo. That's actually going to be a knock-on here from the Warriors. So we Dragons ball at 20. Then without Tino and Jojo, whilst Manly without Olakuatu and Tolo Takwala and still no Tommy T. At some point, Manly will lose. I don't know when. But I know they lost to Panthers, but I know some point that they will lose. Cook's come off here, God bless him, with an injury. I just got to hope that it's today, man. I just got to hope the Titans can find some form here today against a Manly team that we have a pretty good record down at their home ground. So heart-wise, obviously I'm back in the Titans. Head-wise, you'd still be definitely leaning with Manly, but I just don't think they're going to win as cleanly and as easily as people do imagine. Serpent says, even if Manly look unbeatable tonight, Dogs beat Panthers 2, anyone can lose. Absolutely, and the Titans did beat Manly last year. It was with Seabold rather than Kieran Foran, but the Titans did beat Manly last year, 28 points to 12 at Seabold Super Stadium. For tackle, the Dragons go to the right-hand side, Setu 2, and Setu 2 is going to be at the 35. I think that's a pretty reasonable answer to give you, though, in regards to what I just said. Nikhil says, Foran about to put on another clinic for me. Shush. What are we doing? Shush, Nikhil. Tane Tuapiku's going to get this ball at 12, first tackle. Jeremy says, why are the Dolphins so successful then? Where's your success for the Dolphins? I look forward to this. Okay, Jeremy, where's the Dolphins' success? What are you saying the Dolphins are so successful in? Okay, this will be an interesting one. First 3 years didn't make the finals. Fourth year right now, they're in a similar position to where they were last year before they still missed the finals. They are in 7th position right now, so not exactly amazing, but at least they're in the finals right now. What is your definition of success for the Dolphins as we currently speak? That's a 4 pass, and it'll be Dolphins ball at the 40. Hohepa says, thanks for the stream, brother. Good luck for the Titans game. Up the wires. Yeah, appreciate it, Hohepa. Well, next week, we've got a massive game, Warriors-Panthers. That'll be a massive stream here in the channel, lads. That'll be a massive stream, so get ready for that one. Obviously, we've got Origin on Wednesday, which will be even bigger, but on Sunday, next week, Warriors-Panthers is going to be a huge one. Get ready for it. Titans love to play good when they're underdogs. They've got a $50 on Titans. Let's go Titans. Well, if that was the case, SB, well, we'd win every game because we're underdogs every game. We're underdogs every game, so what? We win every game then. The Dragons here at the 50, and Tyrell Sloan, he'll get the offload away, and Setu 2, he'll be at the 35. I hope Holmes has a warm pillow for a week so he's tired to play. Oh no, he's been so poor this year. Second tag with the Dragons at the 30. Marcus, Titans by 6 to 10 points. You heard it here first. Titans by 50, mate. You heard it here first, and you'll hear it here last. That's going to be Dragons away. Tuipalotu at the 23, third tackle. I think he lost that ball, but they won't call it. Down, so excited to play the Panthers, and it sucks that it's in the Origin period. Again, though, everyone will play. It's next Sunday. Origin's Wednesday. There's plenty of time for all the players to play. So why does it suck? Everyone's going to be full strength unless there's injuries in Origin. Well, mind you, no Tanner Boyd and probably no Roger Tuivasa-Sheck now due to the injury here, but it's not because of Origin. Locker Pacifica Junior Tonga, he is at the 5. And 6 again for the Dragons. Sakopu says, the fact only mention of Illawarra I seen is on your YouTube description. Everywhere else just refers to the Dragons. Merger teams fail when this happens. North Eagles swallowed the Bears. Agree. Gutho had no winger there. He'll be taken out of 10. Yeah, I call them by their full name because that's their full name. But a lot of people make it easy and just say St George Dragons. And it's funny considering we had a comment here before where someone was saying basically Wollongong has taken over. And I've seen that Wollongong has been, that's Illawarra. Wollongong has been getting a lot more games than in recent years. But people just do that for pure convenience. With that being said, though, the Dolphins are named the Dolphins. I call them the Redcliffe Dolphins because I'm not going to give you a no location. But the Dolphins for mine will always be the Redcliffe Dolphins until they officially change their name to something else, which I don't know if they'll ever do. This is going to be a drop ball here from the... No, it's going to be a drop ball from the Dragons. Warriors get the ball to 15. 1 minute to go here of the game. But yeah, I'll always call them St. George Illawarra Dragons until it's official that they're not called the St. George Illawarra Dragons anymore, and it's just one team. Tripper says up the gong. Kiwi says South Island team, Peter. Peter says... Do you think Otahuhu should be the second New Zealand team. I don't know. I just think a South Island New Zealand team should come in. I don't know where Otahuhu is. And I know that's not how do you pronounce it. Sorry, Kiwis in the chat, but you can understand why. I don't get the pronunciation correct. Third tackle now at the 25 of the Warriors. 30 seconds left here. 114 likes. Well done, chat. Yeah, get around everyone for liking the video. Appreciate you. Don't forget Titans Manly right after this, and stick around to watch me either cry or out of anger or happiness. You know, either way, really. Fourth tackle at the 38. Fisher Harris is going to run this ball in the line at the 45. Fifth tackle. It'll be stupid for a team that'll have their logo name only and not the place. Ben says, given us it's in Auckland, bro. Oh, it's in Auckland. Okay, well then definitely not. We're not having two Auckland teams. But anyway, guys, that's the end of the game. 30 points to 12 for the Warriors. They will stay in second. And Dragons, you got to really hope that the Titans don't beat Manly in this next game. Because if the Titans win, they'll be 3 wins above you. And that is the only team closely right now because everybody else is at least 4. You know, the Eels are 4 wins above you. The Storm are 4 wins above you. The Bulldogs are 4 wins. And the Raiders are 4 wins. And then obviously you get now to 5, 6, and 7. So your points differential will go and lose 18 points here. I think it's 18 points you lost by what? 30-12, yep, so 18 points. So 18 points off, so you're going to be minus 217. You're going to be minus 225. The Titans are minus 86. So you're essentially 3 games behind them now. You'd be essentially 4 games behind them if they were to beat Manly in this next game. So, yeah, you're in tough predicament, man. You know this. I'm not telling you anything that you don't know. Warriors, you got a big game next week against the Panthers. Massive, massive game on next Sunday. You should probably have your full-strength team in to the best of your ability. Obviously, Tanner can't be there, and I don't think Roger will be there because of the injury today. But to the best of your ability, I think your Origin players will be there, and I think their Origin players will be there too. So next Sunday is going to be a massive stream, so definitely be here for that one. Obviously be here for Titans Manly after this and the Origin and whatnot. But next Sunday, that is an away game at CommBank Stadium, because obviously Penrith don't have their home stadium built just yet. That's going to be the one that you're looking for. First versus second, and I'm telling you, both teams will be full strength as long as there's no injuries in Origin. But all right, guys, I've got to jump off. I'm going to switch over to that Titans versus Manly stream. Obviously, hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you're new around here. I appreciate everyone for enjoying the stream, and we'll see you guys in about five minutes' time. Thanks for watching. Catch you later.